Welcome, fellow gamers.
We're just normal men.
What do you mean, normal men?
We're just innocent men.
It's time for Side Scrollers with me, Stuttering Craig. You decide when you lose, not other people. And Blabs.
I like pickles.
And co-hosted by our friends from around the internet. If you like common sense, hit that thumbs up button and, of course, the subscribe button. And join us Monday through Friday live at 11 a.m. Central Time. And now, broadcasting from our homes, it's time for the #1 gaming and entertainment podcast on God's green earth. It's time for Side Scrollers.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Welcome on out to Side Scrollers on YouTube.com and Rumble.com and Side Scrollers Podcast.com. Hello, everybody. Happy Thursday to you. I'm Stuttering Craig. My, oh my. Did the internet giveth the greatest show possible today. We have so much to talk with you guys about, and it's a little birthday today. We're 18 months old. Just a year, 18 months, Blabs.
I wish I had like a little kazoo or something. Go, but I don't have anything on me, so I'm sorry. You do though, I know. So go on. That wasn't what I was expecting.
It's my dog whistle. I'm a dog whistle today.
Now your dog is gonna come charge and be like, "What's up, Dad? What do you need? I'm here."
What you need, Daddy-O? How you doing?
Right? Hi. I want to congratulate you. That was the best intro you've done in about 6 months. Thank you, microphone.
Microphone is good.
Sounded perfect, yeah. You were not underwater whatsoever. That's why I did the thumbs up. Good job, Craig. It only took 6 months. Woo!
We're on fire today. Let's go. Love that. Well, hello, Blabs. Are you doing well?
Hi. I'm good. Listen, I got my trolls here. I got the twink and a redhead. We're all set. We're ready to go. It's fine.
Oh, don't you dare. Don't you dare.
Oh. I didn't think you were going to play it.
I'm on fire. Man. Well, we have a couple great friends joining us today here on this wonderful Thursday, this 18th month celebration, which, by the way, we're going to get into that here in a little bit. Some ways we are celebrating today because we're making some big changes in a good way. But first, let's introduce our friends. Hello, Mark, super autistic Mark, the cyborg, who's joined us. Hello, buddy.
How's it going? I actually found out that I technically do not have autism. I just have attention deficit hyperactivity disorder. But the reason they didn't catch it for a very long time, and the excuse for my autism, is apparently my biggest symptom is hyperfocus. So I will hyperfocus on something and be able to edit for like 18 hours or stay on EFAP for 12. But
that's a symptom?
Yeah, or like technically at least. It's an indication of something that could give you a diagnosis. So the symptom would be the short form of what I would say. Sign is probably more accurate. Signs and symptoms, technically they're different.
Yeah, but hyperfocus is a bad thing?
Well, yes, because I ignore other things that I need to be paying attention to, and I just kind of zero in on things. But yeah, I'm on new meds, thinking very clearly, stuttering a lot less, and honestly, it's been improving my marriage. So, right. X-Ray Girl understands me better, and that big surprise stops us from having all the fights that we would normally be having.
Hey, love that.
Yeah.
Good. Hey, love that. Congratulations. And while you may not be autistic for sure, you're definitely still artistic. Congratulations.
You still are an autistic person.
A little bit. The dog was also called my puppy, so thank you.
Okay.
Jojo?
There you go. There you go. Look. All right.
She's a little ill-tempered.
So Mark has joined us, which is great. Also joining us today, I don't know if he suffers from hyperfocus, but I'll tell you what. He's hyper-focused on my heart. It's Jeff from World Class Bullshitters. Hello, buddy. How are you?
Hey. Hi, everybody. Best intro ever. No. Sometimes I have a lack of focus. There we go. So I'm the opposite.
He is the opposite of Mark.
Well, good. We got the yin and the yang for focus today, which is wonderful. So, well, I'm glad both you gentlemen have joined us today. We've got a lot to talk about. I would like to remind everybody once again, we are live over at Rumble. Sorry. God dang, I keep forgetting. I can't say the word Rumble. Over at the Green Rumble. over there. Make sure you guys follow us over there as we have passed 8,000 followers, continuing to grow, which is wonderful. Do us a favor, follow us over on X. Good to find out that Mark and Jeff are going to be on the show simply by following us over there at Side Scroller Pod. And we have an Instagram account, don't we, Blabs?
We do, so follow us for memes and clips of the show. Otherwise, some sort of violence upon you and your zucchini or sandwich or cow.
I'll take the cow. Beef's good.
Beef,
Okay.
It is what's for dinner. I mentioned Kick yesterday and how once we got to 669 followers, I would stop promoting it. Right now, we're at 665. So we're 4 followers away. And once we get to 669, I will no longer mention Kick ever on this stream as long as it stays at 669 followers. So 4 of you would head over there and hit the follow button over at kick.com/sidescrollers. That would be great. And you'll never hear from me again. But you will hear that you can find the show over on Apple Podcast and Spotify and listen to us over there if you want to listen to the audio version of the show, which apparently the audio has improved greatly the last couple of days, which is wonderful. Made some twists and tweaks, and we're improving every single day, which is the purpose of the show.
Did you chuck your mixer out or something?
Just made some small little.
So you're saying it wasn't the mixer, it was just actually you?
No, it was definitely the mixer, but it was settings that I had on the mixer. So, and you improved your audio quality, which is great.
Is it good? I don't know. Let me know, guys. StreamYards does not like me, but OBS does. So.
You're great, Blabs. You sound great. With that said, I do want to encourage everybody to head over to sidescrollerspodcast.com. Here's the thing. Today, it is our 18-month anniversary. Not a birthday. Don't do that. But we've been going strong for 18 months. How many episodes is that, Blabs?
Why do you always do that to me? All right, we are on episode 378.
378
right,
episodes, Monday through Friday. That's pretty good. Pretty good. Closing in
Triple
on 400.
digits.
That's right. Not many people do that, which is great. But so to celebrate 18 months of being live on the internet Monday through Friday at 11 a.m. Central Time, we are making a big push over on our locals page, otherwise known as sidescrollerspodcast.com, that redirects to our locals page. So today, through this weekend, we are doing 50% off all memberships over there. We're going to be doing more stuff. Just use promo code NORMAL. We're going to be doing more exclusive content over there. And we gave it a facelift, which is awesome. It looks really, really good today. So head over to the locals community over at sidescrollerspodcast.com. It looks super good. Look at that. All nice and dark and pretty. Yours may be bright because you can change it
Yeah,
around.
dark mode by default. Woo, win.
Yeah.
Seriously.
Best stuff.
I'm not even kidding. That's awesome.
Right. And up here in the upper right corner, you can find the supporter exclusive videos up there. So videos that are just for those who choose to support over there. So please head over there, use promo code NORMAL, get $55 off, which is good. And it supports us. If you want to support Common Sense, it's a great way to do it. We're going to have that promo code running through the weekend. So appreciate any and all support. And on top of that, I promised a $300 Amazon gift card. I will give that away. I said by today. Lied. Sorry, I'm going to extend it out through the weekend. So yeah, we'll extend it out through the weekend. So if you want to become a member, to be clear, if you're if you do a free sign up, that's totally cool too. You are still eligible to win. I think that's how it works. But if you want to support, cool. If you don't, that's fine too. But promo code NORMAL for half off, which is good. So there's the shill for the day. I appreciate that. Did I clipped out there? Damn it.
Yeah, you did clip and crackle.
Just a tiny bit.
Everything was going so good until
we jinxed it, honestly. But when did the other dog show up? I look over and there's just a second dog in Mark's lap.
Rocky he'll often show up after JoJo, and it's actually one of the reasons why I get afraid when I have to be at work in the morning and then come home and get on, because sometimes they take a minute to settle down. I don't know if you guys noticed, but they were having a little argument while I was muted. They seem to be settled, and Rocky's a good boy.
all doggos are good boys.
Yeah, she's a good girl, although she's angry when the Chihuahua gets in her space.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad that you got your puppos there.
Yeah,
which is wonderful. Hey, just for the record, Jeff, do you have any puppos?
No, I do not.
All right, good. Well, your life would be a little improved if you did. I'm just letting you know that.
I agree. I just don't currently have the space.
Dogs are great.
These
Dogs
are
the
tiny
best.
ones, though. That's the beauty of it. They can go anywhere.
Poll in the chat, Blabs. Which is better, dogs or cats? And fight, normal men. You fight over this. This will be great.
You want me to
I'm too
cancel
low? Okay.
the Wakanda Forever or for Narnia poll?
Is my mic better now? I'm speaking quietly so that I don't blow
do you
your
really
ears
want me to
out.
do that? I raised you, Mike, so you're good now.
Okay, good.
All right. Look, nah, you keep it whatever you want. Blabs.
That's what I thought. Wakanda forever for Narnia, which, by the way, Narnia is leading 82%.
I mean, why would
As it should.
As it should.
Well, do us a favor, guys. If you are new to us over here on YouTube, do us a favor, hit the subscribe button and join the 91,011 normal men looking for common sense in the video game and entertainment space. Let's get the store best to get to 1,000 likes. So scroll your little mouse over to that thumbs up, hit that thumbs up button, and allow us to continue to grow over here on YouTube, because there is a direct correlation between you guys commenting in the chat, the thumbs up, thumbs down ratio, just all the interactions that happen on a stream that helps push the stream out to people in the YouTube algorithm, which is great. And of course, let's do our best to get to 25 memberships. You know what? Better, let's do our best to get you guys over to that sidescrollerspodcast.com and become members over there. Once again, use promo code normal. All right. With that said, Blabs, give us today in video game history.
Okay, we'll see if you guys like this one. It is August 15th, which means
That Geist is a
Starflight.
pretty deep cut.
Yeah, Starflight was released back in 1986. We have Chrono Cross releasing back in 2000, and we have Geist releasing back in 2005. The end.
Those are deep cuts. Not bad for sure. As I
No
do a
trolls?
What's that?
No trolls today?
No, I'm sorry, but listen, they're here instead.
Oh,
They're
okay.
physically here. Does that count?
Yes.
Always in your heart. That's good. As I do a quick glance over today, Blabs, there's not a whole lot that you missed. Geist is probably the deepest cut, the GameCube version for sure.
A Wii first-person shooter, I believe.
GameCube.
One of the few. Is it game? Maybe it came out on GameCube also. I feel like it was on Wii with like motion controls and that zapper.
Potentially.
That thing.
Yeah. Remember they had that little gun?
Unless I'm thinking of a different game. But
They also, Blizzard opened up the beta for BattleNet today, which is interesting. That's kind of fun, I guess. But outside of that, Blabs, yeah, today's we had a really good day. The last couple days with the Super Nintendo and Genesis anniversaries.
And Virtual Boy, don't forget about him.
Yes, I like that you gendered the Virtual Boy now.
It literally says boy.
Listen, don't assume it's gender. But yeah, as I do a quick scroll, not a whole lot going on right now. You did it, Blabs. Today was perfect.
We did it, Joe.
You did it. Yes. All right. Way to go, Blabs. You did it. Nice. All right. Speaking of doing it, Mo came in with a $20 super chat right off the bat. Says, regarding yesterday's stream, I haven't been to Texas since '91, but as a Chicagoan, as a Chicano.
Close enough.
Totally different, by the way. Chicagoan and Chicano are totally different. As a Chicano, I must say Tex-Mex blows, and Colorado and California Mexican food are way better. And the burrito was invented in San Francisco in the 60s.
California does have really good Mexican food. I will give them that. Although I was in Texas at a food truck and got tacos, and they were incredible.
Yes, the best Mexican food is served out of a truck or a gas station. That's generally the rule when it comes to food here in Texas, right? And same thing goes for barbecue as well. Like you can go to the big things, but if you stop by like a guy who has a trailer, like that's usually the best way to go for sure. Well, thank you, Mo, and I'm sorry that I I referred you as a Chicagoan instead of Chicano, but thank you very much. Tex-Mex is its own thing for sure. It's like a hybrid, hence the name. So.
I always think you guys say Chex Mix, and I'm like, oh, I could go for some of that.
Same
Chex
here.
Mix is yummy, a good snack, but terribly unhealthy.
Tex-Mex might be the best kind of food, like just in general. It's really good.
What's the best piece of the Chex Mix? Chad,
The
this
little
is for you as
square
well.
thingies.
The checks?
Yeah.
I think it's the little pieces of rye. The little.
I agree.
Yeah, that's
Like little tiny baguettes.
Can we get rid of the pretzels? They just put too many pretzels in there, and it just
They
kinda ruins
do.
pretzels.
That's fair. Mark's like, oh.
These are the important conversations that only we have on our show, which are important. Which
breaking
Tex-Mex
news
piece
stuff,
is the best?
guys.
That's right.
Chex Mix or pretzels.
Bless you, Rocky.
Honey Badger came in and says, big changes for the better, but we like Blabs. Oh, no, Blabs is here. She see whether she likes it or not.
That's part of the contract. I'm here against my will.
That's right. Norms came in and says, I've been around ADHD kids for most of my school life, and I can confirm the hyperfocus bit is a thing. All right. Well, thanks for that.
Hooray,
There
I'm
you go.
real.
Way to go, Mark. And Norm says, how dare Blabs compare Narnia to Wakanda? Narnia is a real place. I checked.
Dude, I actually have like closet doors that look like the doors from Narnia. So every time I open up my closet, I'm like, hello, but nobody ever responds.
What if they did?
Dude, I'd be lit. Or I'd be on mushrooms, either one.
Could be a burglar.
Also pretty lit.
Could be a burglar just hiding in my closet. Like, hey man, oh you need this shirt? Here you go, I'll help you out. Just hands it over to me.
Matt came in and says, today in gaming history, the pogo stick was released 40 years ago today. No way. It's got to be way earlier than that, right? Way earlier than that.
Today in 1984? Yeah.
Nah,
Yeah, 1984, best year.
Okay.
Terminator came out, and me.
And you out of your mother's vagina. Congratulations. Yeah. Benjathan came in and says, make sure your sushi isn't out of a gas station. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, avoid the gas station sushi.
Wait, are you guys talking about the actual pogo stick or like the pogo stick?
I'm just going based
I'm
off
assuming
of
yeah.
Because like the pogo stick was, like patented in like 1957 apparently.
Oh, then maybe this is incorrect.
Listen, you mean there's incorrect data on the internet? What? Are you kidding me?
Yeah, the two-handle pogo stick
tell that
designed
happens
was
sometimes.
patented by George B. Hansberg in 1957.
Way to go, Blabs. That's some good producing right there.
Yeah.
Quality. Nice. Absolutely. Ready came in and says, I named my West Highlander Terrier dog all white Wesley.
Yeah.
Terriers are the best.
Racists are funny.
That's funny.
Funny. Absolutely funny. Yeah, for sure. And Delta came in and says, wow, did you hear that, Craig? Medicine that stops stuttering. I hear they also have a cure for autism in the distant future. Wonders never cease. Hey, thanks, Delta. Appreciate that. That is wonderful. And yes, congratulations to Mark with his brand new medicine over here.
Yay.
Yay.
Yay, drugs.
Yay. All right. Like I said, we got a lot to talk about today. I'm glad you guys have found us. Do us a favor, hit the thumbs up button. If you're new, make sure you hit the subscribe button. Glad you're here. With that said, it's time for my favorite segment, your favorite segment, everybody in the world's favorite segment. It's time for Hard News. Hard News. We have had a consistent theme of food atrocities mentioned over the last week or so. We've talked about different fragrances on the show. We've talked about the pretzel fragrance. We had the giant coffee mayonnaise incident of 2024 just a mere 2 days ago.
I was hoping I'd finish my coffee before you brought that up.
I'm sorry. Listen, these are things. But
You're making me want to throw up my bacon sandwich I had before.
Listen,
Bacon
is the best. It is nature's gift to God, which is wonderful. But with that said, we have another potential food atrocity that is here, a crossover, if you will, in the form of mass manufactured food. We have a crossover with Oreos and Coca-Cola coming our way, as the Oreo and Coca-Cola and Oreo Coke Zero Oreos are on the way. So it's the double crossover. This is the Street Fighter Cross Tekken variety, where it goes both ways, where you're gonna get an Oreo Coke crossover and a Coke Oreo crossover, which sounds absolutely horrendous. So we're getting both the cookie and the soda. Jeff, which one would you be more preferred to have?
Oh God. I guess I'll try the cookie, since I try a lot of different flavored Oreos, but it doesn't sound good.
This is actually a legit question. If you have a Coke Zero sugar Oreo, okay, hold on.
It would probably still require sugar to make the Oreo cookie part.
Right. And that's kind of where I'm at here. Okay, because the labeling on this is you have the cookie itself, and it has the Coke flavored. See, it's not Coke Zero for the cookie. It's just Coke flavored cookie, which is very odd. So yes,
it's not that odd, because Coke, if they had to make the whole cookie sugar free, it would probably taste like unbelievably bad. So it's just like, hey, you want a cookie that tastes like soda? No, you can't have diet soda. Eat the sugar.
No, that makes sense. But the Oreo flavored Coke soda is very weird to me, because is it flavored as Coke or is it flavored as Oreo? These are questions that you ponder.
I'm guessing it's kind of like a vanilla Coke or a cherry Coke, but rather than cherry or vanilla flavor. It's like an Oreo flavor syrup that they throw in there.
Consume your corporate slop.
I'm gonna have a
God.
hot take here.
I-
I actually think this is better than anything that we've seen so far as for like crossovers.
When you
Labs.
showed the why do gamers want games to fail thing yesterday, I was like seething. I was so mad at that guy. I'm just like, oh my God, this is.
How
this
does
is why
that
there
have
are
anything
bad
to relate
games.
with food?
What does that have to do with anything, Mark?
It was brought up in
thought I
that. Wasn't it brought up in that little chat that came up?
I don't know.
No. He was talking about the corporate slop of Oreos and Coke. That's what he was talking about.
Mark,
Not-
you're thinking too much into it. Let's
Well,
focus.
as I said, it scarred me. I was like, man, how can a person be this much of a double O consumer?
Anyway,
Anyways,
I was
cookies.
just
Cookies
saying,
and soda.
Mark. Anyway, I don't think this is as bad as, let's say, like the mayonnaise in coffee or like those other things. I think this is just gonna be extremely sweet and like it's gonna be so commercial and so bad for you. It's actually gonna take like the products that they're supposed to taste like.
That's
Like,
what-
let's say a Coke flavored Oreo. It's gonna taste like Coca-Cola as a cookie. It's gonna be insane. But it's gonna be like made out of like cardboard.
So they do have a pre-sale for this right now.
Really?
Yes, over on the website itself. You know, there's a lot of irony here because when you go to the website itself, you're going to a website that sells cookies, right? Yet on the bottom of the website, you have to either reject the cookies or accept the cookies. On the bottom of the website. A lot of
Good
irony,
man.
which I will reject all the cookies there. But you can get them, and there's an exclusive cookie pre-sale. The question here, Blabs, is do you want to try the cookies? Should I get you the cookies?
You know what? Do it. I will try it on stream. I actually
Yeah?
will. Yeah.
Okay, all right, sounds good. Because here it is, right here. We got the
Oh my
giant.
god, it looks like bottle caps.
Well, that's the idea, Blabs. This
Can you
is
imagine though if they're actually shaped like bottle caps? That'd be hilarious.
yeah.
Oh, they are! Oh my god, that's cool.
That's actually kind of neat.
That is actually very smart marketing.
I'm getting FOMO right now, so I'm gonna.
You're getting
And so
FOMO
listen, We're
too.
all gonna try them. We're all gonna come back and we're all gonna try them.
The
Why
question
it
is,
not
I,
for me?
Except
want- how much-
not for me. I wouldn't. I don't like eating stuff like that.
we'll see if we can make it happen for you, Blabs. It depends on
yeah, I will probably just eat one and then throw them out. But I will try for the goodness of this show and side scores. I will take one for the team and try a cookie.
All right. Well, I'll tell you what. We'll keep an eye on that, and I think more than anything, I want you to try the Oreo flavored Coke. That's probably the bigger thing because that sounds more disgusting to me than anything else.
Why would you make me do that? What if I spit
Well,
it
I'm just
out
saying,
and it
if you're
gets
gonna-
all over the place? No, as per a cookie, just crumbs. I can vacuum that. You know how hard it is to clean sugar off a keyboard?
How many
Rubbing
things have you
alcohol?
eaten where you've had to violently expel them because they're that bad? You're like,
Excellent.
oh my
Never,
god, I
but
can't
never,
take another
but
bite
here's
of
the
this.
thing. That's a fear of mine is like spewing. So yeah, and like one time I spilled rum on my keyboard. Like it was Fireball, actually not rum, but like it took forever to clean it out, and I had to, like pop off the keys and everything and scrub with rubbing alcohol, and it was not a good time. So listen, I never want to do that again.
I don't care.
I was drinking Fireball and playing Sea of Thieves and having a really fun time, and I accidentally spilled it like all over my desk. Okay.
I'm not the one derailing this time.
I'm with you, Mark. I'm with you, Mark. Like, Blabs, just drink the Coke.
Listen, maybe I'm autistic.
Yeah. All right. Well, we'll cross that bridge when we get there, but let's worry about the Oreos first and foremost. Okay.
Okay.
All right. Sounds good. Hey, let's move on to another quick hit here.
Wait, before we move on, there's a really
Okay.
quick question in the chat. The real question is, would you dip the Coke-Oreos in milk? Or would you dip the Coke Oreos inside the Coke flavored Oreo?
No.
Ew.
You know, I would say I would never mix Coke and milk, but like a float. You ever had a float that's like a milkshake with like soda in
Yeah.
it? Not terrible.
Those are good. Laverne and
I haven't had
Shirley.
one since I was
That's
like
the
10,
amount.
but I
do, yeah,
remember
sorry,
enjoying
Craig.
them.
Sure did, Blabs. Sure did. All right. Speaking of derailing, let's talk about the Borderlands movie for a minute. That movie has
boy.
obviously been crushed over the last little bit. It's been a lot, man. It has been destroyed. It will not make its money back. It's almost impossible for it to make its money back at this point.
It was horrible too.
You saw it, Jeff?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yes, we had your 2-minute review of it, didn't we? Yes.
Oh wait, that was already last Friday. Sorry.
Hey, there you go. So there's been a lot of talk about it being potentially the worst movie ever, and Uwe Boll is tied to a lot of video game movie crossovers that have been thought of. They've been panned over the years, right? And I think as you move away and these films get further and further away, they almost have like rose-colored glasses, or they kind of have a cultish like I don't know, like a cultish type feeling to them, where
kind of like The Room. Street Fighter is probably the best example, because that movie's incredible, even though it is bad.
Right. But Uwe Boll was out there, and he has always been. Uwe Boll is the guy who made those movies. He made, let's see, he did Far Cry. He
House
did
of the Dead, In Name
Resident
of the King,
Evil.
which is Dungeons. No, he didn't do Resident Evil.
No, not a Resident Evil. I'm sorry.
Alone in the Dark, right?
Alone in the Dark, yes. Wait, what
But
was one of the, we actually did on Epic Mike and Josiah's show, we did a video game movie tier list. So actually these titles are pretty fresh in my mind. Blood Rain, that was another one. That was the only one that we gave a high ranking to, because you see the Terminator 3 girl naked in it.
Let's go. All right, nice.
Yeah.
Also, how horrible of you to acknowledge her nudity. Anyways.
She's a beautiful woman.
With that said, he was posted up on over on X. This guy said, this is actually kind of a funny little tweet here. They're talking about this guy who passed on in I don't know. There's a direct correlation with how these guys look, and he's talking about this guy Igor Diet, who faked his death in the mountains and moved to Germany, where he changed his name to Uwe Boll and became a shitty filmmaker. And it's it's just like a kind of like a conspiracy theory. So Uwe Boll responded to this as, if by shitty you mean the best filmmaker who ever lived on planet Earth, then yes, Uwe Boll is shitty. Also, I'm not an 88-year-old dead guy. Which may be the most like Uwe Boll statement ever. Uwe Boll thinks he's the greatest, and this is the Uwe Boll that I came for. That's my boy right there, Uwe Boll. It's awesome, and I love it. So good on Uwe Boll for letting people know and rejecting that idea to half court, because he knows he is the
He's
best.
also essentially the founder of influencer boxing, because he wanted to box the people who gave his movie a bad review.
Right. You are correct. He was a trendsetter, as most geniuses truly are. Yes, Uwe Boll.
We didn't know what we had.
Man, and you know what's funny about that is, like, you see video game journalists go back and they look at, they're like, oh, he boxed these people, and they make it sound like it was a bad thing, but these guys all stepped into the ring with him, and he beat the holy shit out of them. One in particular, like, he beat the holy hell out of him. It was great.
This is the instinct that, oh, this guy's such a terrible filmmaker, I bet he's not good at anything. It's like, have you ever boxed before? And if the answer to that is no, don't assume you're going to beat a dude who boxes at boxing. The sport doesn't work that way.
Who was an amateur boxer? Yes, I mean, it's like, that's probably not a good thing to do. Probably not a good thing to do. All right, let's move on real quick as we continue on. By the way, Doc Mars came in with the 4 months. Says the good John recommends mayo in your Oreo Coke. No. And DB Wild says, told a coworker about the coffee mayo vomit, and he said his mother used to mix Coke and milk to drink. He said it tastes like Kahlua. Huh. That's interesting. As Jeff is shaking. Yeah.
Kahlua does not taste like that.
Because of the existence of like a root beer float, I don't think I can entirely dismiss that as a possibility of tasting okay. Because it's like, I have mixed dairy with soda before and remember enjoying it, though.
Yeah.
I was probably like 10 the last time I had one.
I think there's definitely a correlation between the two. And yeah, okay. Will you try that, Blabs? Will you try the
No.
Okay, never mind.
You wouldn't try a float? Like an ice cream float?
No, I think floats are actually pretty gross. Even just looking at them, all like the foamy frothiness at the top. It's like, that looks like someone threw up at the very top.
All soda
It's a
has
no
that.
from me, dog.
Take a float over mayonnaise coffee any day of the week. Actually, ice cream and coffee, not terrible either.
It's was it called an affogato or something? I get that whenever I'm out.
I don't even know, but it's delicious.
I appreciate that Blabs is just like legitimately, anytime you just mention mayo and coffee, like she has.
What is wrong with you?
It
But, like, are
hurts
you
me too,
serious?
Craig. Just so you know.
It actually does hurt. Listen, I grind my coffee every day. I have a grinder.
Do you whip-
Lavazza
Nice.
coffee. Okay?
Do you
This is
whip
a
your
serious
mayonnaise every
thing.
day?
Do I eat mayonnaise every day? No, but I did have it in my sandwich this morning for breakfast.
So you've mixed coffee and mayonnaise today, then?
Not at the same time, bro.
In your
You can
mouth.
argue that with every single thing then. Ooh, you mixed it
Not with what I eat, 'cause
No,
I never
don't
eat
trigger
mayonnaise.
me, Jeff. Do not trigger me. No. Anyway.
That's what I do.
Hi, Craig. How's it going?
He does it. His show is called World Class Bullshitters. Right? just throwing it out. I just want to point that out. Demio says still more normal than Shrek flavored Oreos. Yeah, absolutely.
What does
Thank
that
you,
even
Demio.
be?
What is that?
Tastes like dick. Norm came in and says,
How do you know what dick tastes like?
I tried the Oreo, the Shrek tasting Oreos. That's
This is some interesting, dude. This week is just like you coming out of the closet. A little
Lads,
recap for everybody.
do that.
He thinks Scarlett Johansson is fine. What else was it yesterday? What did you say? What that
No,
was
no.
kind of? Oh yeah, yoga. That's right. You like yoga, and now you know what dick tastes like. Interesting.
What's wrong with yoga? What's,
And what's wrong
we
with
were just
Scarlett
making
good
fun of
exercise,
him.
actually.
yeah.
No,
like,
it is a hard exercise, but we were just saying he's gay. So
Flexibility and stability are important to everybody. It's not all about just lifting iron, though. Do that too. It's healthy.
That's right. I don't even know what you're talking. Listen, it's
Gay!
you know it's
Look, lifting weights is one thing the gays have right. Okay, let's
Well-
not take that away from them.
not trying Oreo soda for the show. That's gay. Just thrown out there. You should definitely do it. Norm came in and says, here's a proposition for Blabs. He watches an Arnold Schwarzenegger movie, or she has to drink the Oreo flavored Coke.
oh, I would definitely drink the Oreo flavored Coke. That's not just one sip. That's it.
We've been
That's
covering
my
Arnold
reason why.
Schwarzenegger movies on Forge, the show I do with Metal Commander. If you want, you can watch one with us and join the show.
Nope,
nice.
Blabs is going to do it with us. It's going to be great.
Aw.
Apparently, it's part
Benjamin,
of the contract.
that's right. Benjamin says, would you dip the Coke Oreos in mayonnaise? No, Benjamin, stop it.
Stop it. Stop it. Just
Norm
because
says-
you can doesn't mean you should.
Says we deserve a better class of crappy video game adapters. Hey, thank you, Norm. Appreciate that. That is spectacular. Spark says you can mix Coke and milk for a drink called Paralyzer. It also has vodka and Kahlua. Wonderful drink. Now get Mr. X.
Oh, Moriarty. Moriarty.
Oh,
Yeah.
Moriarty. Yes. Yes.
He's really good. He's been on EFAP with me a few times.
You know,
Did
I've
an
seen his stuff.
amazing
Good.
video on Outer Wilds. If you guys have not played Outer Wilds and don't plan to play it, watch Moriarty's video.
I have played it.
There we go.
I would strongly recommend watching his video. It's good analysis.
Now we know. And Hobby came in and says, who is the GOAT? Uwe Boll, Paul W.S. Anderson, or Eli Roth? Personally, I believe Paul is the GOAT. So many poopy films.
Eli Roth made good movies, though.
Yeah, he's made a lot of good movies, or at least decent movies. So it would be
Haven't
hard.
made a good
Like
one.
honestly, when I first heard about the Borderlands movie, it was at like some Jeff Keighley event or something, or E3, when Gearbox was doing a thing, and they had this video of Randy Pitchford walking around the set, essentially pretending to be friends with all the celebrities working on the movie. Eli Roth looked like he didn't want to be on that set at all. Like I feel like he just needed some money, agreed to this, was contractually obligated, and they probably just gave him a whole list of things he had to do because he looked pissed. And I feel like this isn't probably his creative baby, but also, I mean, Robert Rodriguez made Book of Boba Fett, so maybe the Quentin Tarantino prodigies don't stay good forever.
No.
Or proteges, sorry, not prodigies.
All right, let's go and move on to another thing in the video game space. Thank you for that, Mark. And good question
That
by
was
the
video game.
Bobby. But but this is video game streamer thing happening in real life happening. We have seen a lot of controversial things happen in the last couple months. We've seen the Mr. Beast stuff, right? We've had a lot of people talking inappropriate to children. Let's be clear. We have the Dr. Disrespect stuff where he talked about he was talking inappropriately to minors. We had the Chris Tyson thing. We had this Mr. T Lexify guy, Blabs, right?
Yes.
Where whatever. There's been a lot of like things been thrown out there. So there's a lot of people who
in the wood chippers.
Yes. So there have been a lot of people who have been very, I don't know, they've been tiptoeing around how they should speak when streaming and who they should speak to, probably rightfully so. Ninja, on the other hand, was streaming the other day. And Well, I think Ninja's career is over after this moment. Just go see what happened in real time. Has anybody seen this?
No.
Okay, let's check this out in real time as it happens.
That's such a good gun, bro. It's Gamer Girl Ammo! Never heard of this person before, but GG's, man. No one here to avenge me, bro. Ooh, good shotgun. Hey, yo, bro, I'm unfazed. I'm gonna be there, or Con Man, I don't know who I'm watching. Con Man, I'm gonna be there in 3 seconds, bro. Let me get that thunder shotty, bro. Let me give you that Gluck 9000 for it. Actually, never mind. I don't know how old you are.
What's up, Labs?
I laughed. Go Gluck 9000.
So yeah, that is an oral sex technique popularized by a podcast that my wife listens to called "Call Me Daddy." Call her daddy.
Okay.
Gluck 9000. So that was a reference to a blowjob.
Okay.
Yes, thank you, Mark. I had no idea.
you. Yes, appreciate
Hey,
that,
being
Mark.
married teaches you things sometimes.
Let's go. All right, so here we go. Let's continue.
Give you that Gluck 9000 for it. Actually, never mind. I don't know how old you are.
Okay, so look, by the way, watch what he says, then watch his watch how the realization of what he's saying right here.
Gluck 9000 for it.
Like at that point, he's like,
Oh, how old are you?
Oh shit!
All right.
I'm playing Fortnite. This guy's probably 6.
Right. So here's where it turns.
Actually, never mind. I don't know how old you are. Honestly, bro, my life is ruined, bro. Like, I wish I was just like a kid again, so I could say whatever I want and not be held responsible.
The actual ninja.
Oh fuck,
Nah.
dude, it's all.
That's even funnier.
So he's talking to like some kid. He's like 8 years old.
It's all over, dude. GG
Moral
boys.
story,
All right,
don't
thank
play
you guys for
Fortnite.
watching the stream, dude. I'd like to apologize to my family. I'd like to apologize to my stream, my audience, my wife, my dogs, all my subscribers and followers, all my donators. Hey, man, appreciate it, guys. GG, dude.
And then apparently
that's hilarious.
yeah, I mean it's more funny than anything else, but and I actually like the way he handled it. He's like, well, I'm done, I'm canceled. There we go, right there. I think it's pretty good stuff right there. So yeah, I mean, you could see the response he immediately had of him realizing, well, I don't think I can actually say that right now during this, and then with the little kids like, hey, is that the real ninja? On top of that, it was great. Have you guys ever said anything while playing games that you've, I don't know, probably would regret today?
Yeah.
I know, everybody has.
Everybody said it.
Yeah, honestly, I've never been too much of a shit talker. Although I'm willing to bet that I spoke back to someone who was shit talking me, and maybe something of that was inappropriate. But I don't know. Like my Halo days were, I was the guy in the lobby who just didn't talk to anyone, and unless it was a team game and we had to strategize. But I'm like, no,
Yeah,
I'm
not a
not. I will
headset player.
teabag you though. Oh, rest assured, you will be teabagged if I have the space for it.
If he has the space.
Yeah, of course.
I mean, if there's another guy trying to kill you, you don't want to start teabagging, right? You got to stay alive. The game comes first.
Yeah,
Also,
but
don't play Fortnite, it's
sometimes
for kids.
those trolls deserve it. So
Mhm.
I'll take a death to teabag somebody.
But that's the thing. Teabagging is now assault, brother. Just
In Halo?
It's virtual
No.
assaults, yeah.
it's virtual assault in today's world.
Mhm.
Teabagging, right?
Mm-hmm.
Standing over somebody and someone gets so shit. But well,
X to doubt.
Yeah, this dude, I was playing Call of Duty like a year ago because I haven't played Call of Duty in forever. And this guy kept calling me like baby girl, and I was like, yeah, fuck, that ain't your baby girl. Fuck you. My mom doesn't love you. Yeah, it's fine. I just started yelling at him.
Did you beat
Then
him?
he quit. He quit.
Oh.
It was all live on stream.
see, that's how you do it though, Blabs. Is
Yeah, talk back.
The best way to beat somebody or to win in that situation is to win in that situation.
Yeah, well, I was actually doing a lot better than he was too. He was like the random guy on our team. It was 3 of us plus him, and he ended up quitting. I was saving his butt anyway, so yeah.
Well, good for you,
Right
Blab. Way to let him know.
I'm a sweet
right.
summer child.
Well, we'll see if Ninja can survive that cancellation that will surely be coming after threatening the glug
Gluck
to
Gluck.
it, whatever it is, to a child while playing Fortnite.
I guess in his defense, he seemed to immediately be like, fuck, I shouldn't have said that, and then was trying to do damage control. So I don't think this is a situation where he's constantly like messaging little kids. It's
Right,
just like
of
he
course.
did that. He's realized like, oh crap, I play Fortnite. I can't say stuff like that.
Of course, yeah.
Play
and he's-
Quake. There's no little kids playing Quake, I guarantee you.
It's just funny. It's funny stuff. B Barrett came in with the 2 over on Rumble, says Oreo flavored Coke. This has to be a joke. This has been a great week. Side scrollers at its peak. Yesterday we had Vera Dark. Today we have Mark the Cyborg. Or we have
thank you.
Yeah, so there you go. Thanks, B Barrett. Appreciate that. Thanks for your support over there on the Rumble. Benjamin came in and says Blabs is on Grinder. This is for Gregory. No, Blabs is not on Grinder, I don't think. You're right.
No, I've never been on any of those dating platforms in my life because I don't need to be. Thank you.
I met X-Ray Girl on one, so I'm not against them.
That's cool for you, not for me.
It was pretty
Uriah
cool for me,
says,
to be honest.
so would Blabs taste coffee with mayo or Chris Changa's Fanta? I don't even know what that means. You're right.
No, let's move on.
Suna Soul Silver says, if I can go back in time to slap myself from being stupid, I would do so 1,000 times over. Right. And that's the thing. Like, everybody has done stupid things. It's part of life. Everybody said stupid things. It's part of life. But now we live in this society where people want to find things you said or did 15, 20 years ago, literally decades ago, and they want to cancel you over it. It's so insane. And mistakes are a part of life. That's how we grow and improve and get better. But here we are, speaking common sense. Absolutely ready says, "Aw, that's our baby girl Blabs. Don't be like that.
Don't call me baby girl.
Don't do that.
Nope, won't wind well for you.
Blabs, I want to let you know that you just let it be, because now the chat's going to be flooded with baby girl Blabs. All right, hey, we got some new games that are coming. This is going to be kind of interesting stuff. It's going to move into plain talk here in a second, Blabs. But we got a new. We got a new secret agent game on the way. Have you guys heard about this game that's coming? This is very, very exciting. A game called Barcore. Have you guys heard about this game at all?
I'm
had
actually
not.
very excited for this. This looks like fun.
I had not until Blab sent me the show notes, but now I'm aware of it, and it looks pretty interesting.
Barcore, a new stealth game where you play as a secret agent dog. Shall we watch the trailer, gentlemen?
Yes. Yeah.
Let's check it out here. This is the trailer for Barcore. Oh,
Good job, IGN.
Powerful mustache on that enemy.
Stitch a spaceship. Yo, I'm so in. I'm so in.
Sort of the same concept of that game as Stray, but looks like it has a better premise and a better animal.
right. And I was gonna say the dog, the animal, like the animal open world game, or this has become a thing. You mentioned Stray, Barcore. Somebody mentioned the idea. Wasn't this a movie a few years ago? I think you're thinking of that. There was a Disney movie where it's Bolt. Yes, where he was like a superhero, but it was all a TV thing.
It wasn't real. Yeah.
Yeah. It doesn't. This certainly is not like a AAA game by any means. It's meant to be just like a fun video game, right?
I'm gonna try it. I'm definitely gonna try it. If it's free, I'm in.
There is one very beloved game in which you play as a four-legged creature. Has anyone ever played Okami?
No.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. Okami is one of the first like big cel-shaded games, and it was made by Hideki Kamiya, who does like the Bayonetta games and stuff, and was one of the last Capcom games before he and Shinji Mikami left to go make Platinum.
Yeah, Okami is definitely considered a classic in the world of that was Okami was GameCube.
Yes,
right?
GameCube.
Yeah.
It's also on Wii. Wait, was it
okay.
on? I think it's on PS2 as well. I have the emulated GameCube version on my Steam Deck.
Don't tell it to the internet. Nintendo's gonna come get you. Okay.
I played Little Kitty Big City that came out a couple months ago, and that was actually a really cute game.
Oh, I keep getting that on my Xbox homepage. I'm just like,
It's
maybe.
cute. It's like what, like an hour or 2 hours long video game, but it's got very charming like gameplay aspects, like cat mannerisms, because you play as a cat who's lost in the city. But like you can trip people and knock them over, so that's kind of fun. I just really enjoyed knocking people over.
Your gaming is so much more wholesome than mine. I'm playing this one where you're on an oil rig and there's like monsters and people are dying and stuff. It's a much different beast.
That sounds kind of cool.
Yeah, I like violence actually.
There's a recent game too where you play as a crab called Another Crab's Treasure, and it's a Souls-like game where you play as this little crab because the ocean government repossessed his shell because he doesn't know what taxes are. So he's killing his way across the ocean to get his shell back and find out why he even needs to pay taxes at all.
Okay, that is a great video game premise.
It's on Game Pass.
Like I love everything about that. The idea that like we talk about these like stealth games, Metal Gear Solid, these cinematic experiences, God of War, you're playing the movie. If you were to go back to the 90s, right? Like let's think about this. At its core, right? What is one of the most popular game franchises ever, right? Super Mario Brothers. A plumber goes to a fictional land, goes down pipes, eats mushrooms to save a princess from a lizard king, right? It's the most bizarre fucking concept in the world. And it's one of the most beloved franchises ever, right? That's what makes video games so much fun, is the bizarre nature of video games and the fact that you're doing things that you can't do in real life, this fictional nature. So if we got a game about a dog that's a secret agent that's using grappling hooks and crazy powers and parkouring all over the place, hey, I'm all for that. I think that's great. And I think that sounds like a perfect game for you, Blabs.
I'm down.
Of course.
Any premise can work if the execution is good. Like there are premises that on their face are better than others, but ultimately it'll come down to like, how is the game? What does the game play like?
Of course. As Victus points out, he says the villain in Barkor looks like the engineer straight out of Torchlight 2, just needs a monocle.
This is a great mustache.
Thank you, Victus. Appreciate that. And Benjamin says, check out Deer Simulator. Also, all right.
Monkey, that actually is a game. Oh, fuck, what was it called? I played it on Steam Next Fest, but there is a game called Monkey spelt like that, and it's just basically Doom Eternal's movement, but you're a chimpanzee and all you do is climb and run.
Oh, I played Goat Simulator.
Oh, me too. I actually got good at it.
I played it once, and honestly, that was enough for me.
That was my pandemic game. That and Borderlands, the trilogy.
See, that was Star Wars Battlefront 2 for me. But I'm like obsessed and addicted to Zoo Tycoon 2 again. Like I picked it up recently after not playing it for many years, like the original stuff from 2005, and I am addicted. It's bad. I'm like, I need to build a zoo now. Yeah.
Goat of Duty is actually pretty good too. And actually,
Goat of Duty? Yes,
Blabs.
we played that trailer, Craig. With Melanie, I think it was.
Blabs,
that game looks like fun.
What's wild though is you brought it up in the episode where you said you had no idea what Quake is, and the reason I like Goat of Duty was that it's basically just a Quake 3 mod. Like that's what Quake multiplayer feels like, really.
And I'll just go play Goat of Duty, and I'll be fine.
Quake's amazing.
Goat of Duty.
All right. Well, speaking of games that you can play that people love, talking about, I want to move on to the idea of exclusivity. Before we do,
bad.
I want to point out that Ian came in with 10 gifted memberships. Let's go, Ian. Thank you very much. That is extremely exceptional. And Blast would like to say ooh to you. Thank you very much. Yes. Thank you, Ian. If you guys got gifted membership, make sure you say thank you. Consider paying it forward. That would be wonderful right there. Thank you very much, Ian. Appreciate that greatly. Let's go to continue on here. Now, yes, Mark, you were saying exclusivity is bad.
Yes, I'm actively against exclusivity in video games being a practice that people defend, and I've had many an argument with Jeremy Griggs over it.
Well, I think that exclusivity is a necessity in the marketplace. When you have a console that you're trying to sell, you need things that you can only be on that exclusive console, right?
Hard disagree.
Do you think? Look, the video game world is changing. right? We can all establish that we all know that it's changing, and the idea of you want to sell your stuff to multiple consoles or whatever, that's fine. With that said, Microsoft is kind of changing the way that they think about exclusivity. And they had an experiment not too long ago where they brought Sea of Thieves over from the Xbox to the PlayStation 5. And that apparently went really well, as there's a rumor that's popped off that coming up very soon, as soon as next week, the idea of a big Xbox exclusive will no longer be exclusive and be brought over to the PlayStation 5, and that is Forza Horizon 5, going from the Xbox to the PlayStation 5. But we're not done yet, because there are other games that are potentially rumored to be going that way. First, let's start there. The idea of Xbox kind of looking at and saying, hey, we're going to play nice, and we're going to sell as many copies as we can on as many consoles as we possibly can. Let's start there. Jeff, what are your thoughts on that?
I'm old school where I do like exclusivity. It was kind of fun to, have to play your Nintendo to get your Mario, this, that, and the other. But I'm also, as an Xbox guy, I'm not mad that the exclusives are getting lessened, because I don't really think the exclusives that get put on multiple consoles are that great. Like Forza, all right, I'm not really a Forza guy. Sea of Thieves really wasn't my cup of tea. I think when I think of exclusives, I think of more the Nintendo exclusives, because there's a sameness to other games, and when you kind of put everything on PC, there's about 20 games that look the same. You're like, well, this is this one because it takes place on this planet, or this is that. And that's kind of what I like about exclusives, because there's a uniqueness to a lot of that.
Out of curiosity, though, how would those same games be any different on the platform where they would be exclusive if people could also just buy it on whatever they like? I feel like it just
because you have a universal set of standards that you need to meet. In terms of like Nintendo, you might argue that the Switch is an inferior system because you can't do 4K ray tracing, or you may not be able to do what you can do on other consoles. But I have more creativity coming at me at that game than I do something that's a multi-plat that's got a couple $100 million on it. Like, for example, Red Dead Redemption 2 is a beautiful game that really maximizes everything you can do with technology. But I still would rather play in the inferior version of Zelda, where it's exclusive to that, because there's just a soul to it. It's original. It's unique. Each console has its own branding, makes it feel like a different thing every time I play their games.
So the counter argument I give to that is the difference between the hardware that Red Dead Redemption is running on and the hardware that Tears of the Kingdom, for example, is running on, is just that. It's hardware. Software is the thing that you're saying you like. And if Tears of the Kingdom was a game that was scalable, released on PC, even Xbox and PlayStation, A, it would have sold a lot more, and B, it would run and look way better scaling that target spec. So it would run the same on Switch. By saying
something would sell more on something that already has a bigger install base, just because it's a computer. Like me, I have a gaming computer. I'm running it for the channel, but I don't game on this thing.
Yeah,
I have access to all this stuff, but I still choose to be a console gamer.
The thing is, if anyone who wants to give you money is on a different platform, there's not really a business downside to you allowing them to do that, unless your goal is to sell hardware. And as much as Nintendo, I would say, even if their games were not exclusive, I still think the Switch would do quite well, because the value of the Switch was not necessarily the exclusive software, though it did go with a lot of, Breath of the Wild was a launch title, so it had that. But I think most of what made the Switch as successful as it was over something like Wii U, which had very similar exclusives, in fact, a lot of them are the same because they've just been porting the Wii U ones to Switch, I still think because of the form factor and the style of game being unique and interesting. So that is hardware that intrinsically has its own value. And it doesn't really matter what kind of software you put on any of the hardware. Ultimately, being able to buy a game means that more people can play it and the people will make more money, which means more of those games will happen. I think the biggest problem is that a lot of people think big publishers need to also have a console, when some of them aren't particularly great at developing hardware, even if they're, like Nintendo, phenomenal at developing software and communication.
I'd actually like to say something about this. So,
Okay.
and I feel like Mark is just gonna like absolutely destroy everything I have to say right now, but that's fine.
I know for a fact I've probably thought about this a lot more than most humans have. So I guess
Yes,
that's
I think
probably the
you've
reason.
thought about this more than all of human together. But anyway, I actually missed the days when games were different on each console because
Same.
of like holding things. Like I always had a PC growing up, so I always played the PC version of certain games. But then you go and find out like PlayStation 1 had a different type of version of the same game. And then when PlayStation 2 came out, again, that game was also different and upgraded. And I was like, yo, there are 3+ versions of this game out there. That is awesome. I want to play them all. So I never did because I ended up just watching them on YouTube because I don't have a PlayStation 2.
But you got to understand, though, the reason for that is that those platform
Because they couldn't hold it,
specifications
yeah.
were so radically different that they need to, like, those aren't different versions
But
of
I
the
missed
same
it.
game. Those are different games being
Oh, yeah.
independently
It's same-
developed
no,
as
it's
a
the
different
same
thing.
game.
No, it's not. Like, that's
Title.
what I'm trying to get you to stop thinking. It is not the same game. It is a different game where they're trying to adapt the same material, say if it's like a
That's
Harry
fine,
Potter
but
game
I'm
or
just
something.
saying I miss when we had that type of fun stuff with all the different, basically exclusivity. Because
I loved it for the
technically
James
speaking,
Bond
are.
game.
Ultimately,
Web.
it just means you have to buy more plastic boxes to play video games. When honestly, you
Have
probably
you seen the
have
guy
a
with
plastic.
400 consoles? That's fine.
Sure, and being a
Look
console
behind Jeff.
collector.
Do you think
is a
that's an
different-
issue?
Yeah,
You,
you
like,
think Jeff cares about
look
plastic?
at Jeff's
at him.
collection. Right?
Well, no, but like I mean, not everyone is a collector, though, right? And like as a person, I collect Star Wars toys for most of my youth.
That
I
is
understand
why
that
there are
there's people
options
out there who do
You
not
just
have
sound
6
like a first
AT-ATs.
world problem. I have to collect all the different versions.
No,
now.
no,
you don't
no.
have
You
to.
don't. I'm saying you shouldn't have to buy additional things that
Why
perform
not?
the same
Why
function
not?
of a device
Why
that you
not?
already
Why not?
own.
Why not?
Because
Why
why?
does everyone
Okay,
have to have the
why
same
don't
thing?
they make exclusive Blu-ray players that you can only play Sony movies on or Disney movies on? Why don't
They
they do that?
actually
It'd be so much
do have
fun. You
exclusive
can put your
Blu-ray
Disney
players,
movie in your
it's
Disney
legit.
Blu-ray player, and it'd be so much better. It's like no, it's the same thing.
No, completely different thing. You're talking about a home. You're talking about a secondary release of a different product. Video games exist to be video games. Those movies are already studio release things. It's
You're
just
putting a
different
disc into
format
a
to
drive
consume.
and experiencing media, man. It's the same thing. It's
But
just you've been
that's anything
trained
if you
to
wanna-
think that they
So
should
then
be
the
on different
Nintendo-
devices.
but by that argument, the Nintendo GameCube is exactly the same thing as a PlayStation 2. There's no difference. It's the
I mean,
same thing.
from a power standpoint, a little bit, but they also were not developed the same way. So porting between, in particular,
No,
actually,
I
Xbox,
completely
PS2,
understand. I'm just saying I think your logic is hollow on that. You put it's a device, you put a plastic thing in to watch data, because that's anything that says then
Yes, exactly. Any
that
computer
defeats
that
the
has the
purpose.
ability to run that game should be able to run that game, whoever, not taking into account who you bought it from. And like I think the evidence for that is just the way the PC market works. You don't have games that are exclusive to Nvidia graphics cards, and no one on PC cares. They're still going to buy an Nvidia graphics card over an AMD because they want, say, DLSS, or the pricing of an AMD one's better, so they might go AMD. We would have more competition in the console space if consoles were not individual things that had their own group of like sycophantic followers who just think PlayStation's the best no matter what kind of crap they release, or good stuff. They do good stuff too. It would more be, I buy the system that plays video games, which works for me. This is the price point. This is the level of quality I want. This is the maximum resolution for the TV that I own. And this one's for me, while that one's for you. And if games are built to be scalable, all you have to do is set a target specification and say anything less powerful than this will not be able to run this game. And you'd have your 1080p 30 FPS version of a game on the lowest end hardware and be able to run that same game at 4K 120 FPS on a PC or 4K 60 on a PS5, you know? It would be a better world, I'm telling you. And it's going there anyways, and I guarantee you no one's going to...
though. I think you'd have to pull off a bandage for a lot of that to work.
Yeah, and I think the bandage is being ripped off slowly now with PlayStation putting their stuff on PC, Xbox putting their stuff on PlayStation, and Nintendo is probably going to be the last one to go. But right now, as of right now, because the Switch 2 is not out or even officially announced, every single Nintendo game ever made you can play on a PC right now, because there's emulators for every Nintendo platform. So I have
Let's move away
tons of
from
Nintendo
Mark
games that I
trying
can
to
play.
like out himself against Nintendo right
No,
now.
that's
Come
fine.
knocking on your doors.
Come
But
after me.
I have
That's
a
fine.
genuine question here. Okay, so there are new games coming out right now that look absolutely shit because they're supposed to come out for Nintendo Switch as well. Don't you think it should have just been omitted Nintendo Switch and have it actually work really well and look well for Xbox?
Yes, but
PlayStation,
that's
PC?
a different thing because they
Well,
have
that's
to make
exclusivity for those consoles.
no, but the
plus
thing
PC.
is, you don't have to try to squeeze a game that's way too heavy to put on a platform onto that platform. And when they need to make compromises like that, that is literally this gym trying to shove software into hardware that it wasn't meant to run so that they can milk money out of people by selling them a shit version because it's the system they own. Whereas
So
all
isn't
those
that
people
the
just
same
had,
thing if you're doing it on PC to just
No.
downgrade it then?
no, because who cares? Like if you don't have a PC that can run that thing, you have the option of either upgrading that part or downloading a mod that can let you scale the settings down to something that
But
your computer can run.
You're also that's why PC gaming and console gaming aren't a one-to-one parity, because you're introducing so many extra elements that can turn off a consumer. You got to remember, not everybody knows what you know or I know or Blabs or Craig knows. There are basic consumers out there that buy video games for kids, and when your install base is that age group as well, you're going to always have to keep that in mind, and you're going to have to be able to. Families are only going to invest in one thing, and you gotta have to keep that stuff in mind, and the simplicity and the ease of use always goes. That's why Nintendo does have the dominance it does, because it is an easy thing to do.
That is why I think the console market will still exist. The only thing is it won't be an exclusive operating system running on that console. It'll just be something like SteamOS, the thing that runs on Steam Deck. No console player who's ever touches a Steam Deck is like, oh, this thing's too complicated, because it's just a console style operating system. If that is just the thing that's on yours, you might have people who say, yeah, the PlayStation this year seems like the one that I should get because I just want to hook it into the thing and play. I don't want to deal with mouse and keyboard. I want to be able to set up everything using my controller, and that will still exist. The only thing is they won't have to factor in, but what games does my grandkid want to play? Like, I don't know which one has the games he wants. It'll honestly result in fewer parents giving things to their kids that are like, oh, shit, I wanted to play Helldivers with my friends, and this is an Xbox.
Listen, I have the best answer for all of you, which is an answer from Arch, and he is a PC master race, and he has this statement for you all.
That was awful. I hate you now.
I disagree. That is false. No. You're using a clip.
No, that's great. With that said, I do want to bring it back to the point of discussion, and thank you, Mark and Jeff, for the spirited conversation. That's no problem. That's some hardcore gaming right there.
It's time for hardcore gaming.
Yeah. All right. With that said, I want to bring it all the way back to what we were talking about, and the idea of Sea of Thieves and Forza making their way from the Xbox to the PlayStation. There is one other game that potentially may be announced next week as a part of this, and that is a game that I never, ever, when you speak of exclusivity, would think would make the jump to a Sony console. And that game, according to these potential rumors, would be the Master Chief Collection.
Actually, that was the first one that was ever rumored to be coming to PlayStation, and that like 2 years ago. There was news that they were tinkering with making a PS5 version of MCC, and it never materialized. But I mean, that's not a surprise to me, because honestly, it's probably the first one they should have brought over.
That is, to me, like, look, Master Chief is the face of Microsoft and will always be the face of Microsoft. Okay, then who is?
No one.
Right. That's what I'm saying.
They don't have a mascot right now.
Because Halo's
right now,
fallen
but
off.
yeah, traditionally, Craig's right though. Master Chief was their Mario for.
I mean, sure, but again, if all the people playing Master Chief Collection or Infinite right now all of a sudden had a whole big group of players who are now populating the servers and making the game more healthy, I don't see how that's a bad thing for those guys either. Other than like, oh, he's our mascot, now he's on the other team. Boo! It's like, who cares? Who gives a shit? Like you're still playing the game on the system
Craig
you wanted to play.
Jeff said.
Yeah,
yeah.
I mean,
we didn't go there.
I'm saying like the mascot nature is it's kind of irrelevant. It's not something that's really focused on these days. I think the only one now with a functioning
tell that to Nintendo.
Okay,
right?
My sentence was the only one with a functioning mascot right now is Nintendo with Mario, because who's PlayStation's mascot? Who's
because
like Xbox's? Who's
Nintendo
Nvidia's?
has
Who's AMD's?
destroyed
Who's Intel's?
Nintendo has destroyed all of their like. There's no reason for them to have mascots, because at the end, you know who was Sony's mascot for a long time? Kevin Butler. The fake PR person on
actually,
the commercials.
that's fair. Yeah, he was funny.
It was a great ad back in the day. But literally since Kevin Butler, we haven't seen an advert like any sort of And PlayStation in general, they've never really had a mascot. For a while, it was like, oh, it was
Crash
Spyro,
Bandicoot.
and
It was
then
Crash
Crash
Bandicoot
Bandicoot, right?
Crash Bandicoot first. So he was the one
Right.
that did those shit talking outside Nintendo videos, like
Right.
commercials.
And you're right, but that was a very small window of time, and then it just kind of like that was like PlayStation 2 era. That was 20 something years ago now. At this point,
I believe I can explain why that is.
Well-
It's because video games right now aren't targeted at a demographic that requires something like a mascot in order to like pump up excitement for it. Because it's not the kind of thing where everyone needs a little character platformer that's 3D and something. So Sega needs their Sonic, PlayStation needs their Crash Bandicoot. Now, like with Master Chief being what was effectively the mascot of Microsoft, now it's like, okay, well, their mascot's like a big first-person shooter guy. And the mascot thing sort of started decreasing in importance. And now it's just like everyone plays different types of games. So if you decide to make Aloy the mascot of PlayStation, all the people who don't like Horizon are all of a sudden going to roll their eyes every time a PlayStation commercial comes on with Aloy telling them to buy a game. It's like, well, no, like no one really cares. So just show the games that you're going to show and don't worry about who the most special one to the manufacturer is. Yeah.
Well, I do think it's interesting. You know, when you look at, I'm just looking at a quick glance on Wikipedia of like Sony mascots over the years. It has Ratchet, Sackboy. Remember Sackboy?
Oh yeah, Sackboy was a big deal for a minute.
That was an attempt at them saying, yeah, we need a kid-friendly mascot because mascots tend to pull in kids, right?
Right. Nathan Drake, obviously the exclusivity associated with that. Kratos, Polygon Man, obviously that was like the first one way back in the day when it came to PlayStation. Spyro the Dragon,
remember that.
And now Astrobot is considered like the PlayStation 5 mascot. So right, exactly. But here's the thing though, when you talk about these mascots for these different companies, right? You can point to, okay, Sony had this, all these mascots over the last 30 years, right? Xbox, their mascot was Master Chief, right? And over the last several releases of Halo, the game has become less and less relevant, right? But Nintendo, on the other hand, there's one mascot. It's Mario. And it has been literally since day one. He's never been more relevant than he is now. You have movies coming out, you have all. So like when it comes to the idea of exclusivity, right? Nintendo doesn't need to bring its games over to other consoles. When you buy a Nintendo console, you're buying it for Nintendo games.
I would just argue that they'd make a shitload more money if they did. Like right now, who is buying a Nintendo Switch to play Breath of the Wild? Breath of the Wild specifically, not just any Zelda game.
Now or ever? Because I
right
did
now,
back
no,
in
right now.
Well, what are we talking? 7 years ago? Like
Okay. That said, if Breath of the Wild was released on Steam, do you think it would make any money today? It was like, yeah, you know, it's been 7 years. We're going to put Breath of the Wild on Steam to get people into Zelda on Steam. Would that make Nintendo lose money? Or would they
in the future
a
it might
shitload from that?
No, because here's the thing. If you're a hardware manufacturer and you remove your exclusivity and you give people a reason not to buy your product, they'll sit and wait for PC. And they just won't ever buy a Nintendo. So you buy the Nintendo strategy works because you got to remember too, Microsoft and Sony are companies that make other things. These are just their divisions of another bigger company. You know,
Right.
Microsoft doesn't really care about the gaming. They make Windows and all this other crap. Same with Sony. How many chips and other devices do they make?
The gaming is
these are
Sony's
just
most profitable division, so I think Sony does very much care about the games because it's kind of saving them right now.
But they're not. That's not their only thing.
Yeah, I'm aware of that too.
Historically, always known
but
for that.
I would argue that the thing Nintendo, and granted, I earlier on talked about me really liking the design of the Switch, thinking its form factor was pretty revolutionary, and it's the reason why we have things like Steam Deck and the ROG Ally right now. So good on you, Nintendo, for that one. But I would not argue Nintendo as being an incredible hardware manufacturer. They are incredible at making video games. So if it gets to the point that it's like, okay, look, these publishers don't need to build their own box in order to have people play them. Everyone's got things that play video games on them, and we're still going to shoot for the blue water strategy of let's not make our games super heavy and hard to run. Let's make the well-designed with good art styles that can scale, that people can buy them if they want to buy our hardware, or if we decide to not make hardware to begin with, people will still be buying Mario games forever. And the only difference will be there'll be the Switch spec, the one that they design it, and it's perfectly designed to run on that. But then anyone who wants to say, okay, 720p, why don't we bump that resolution up to 4K? Okay, 30 FPS cap, why don't we unlock that frame rate? If you can do things like that, that will just make the games run, play, and look better. And I honestly don't think that Nintendo is at the point where their hardware business is the thing keeping them afloat. I think it's the fact that they sell a hell of a lot of games, and they're not selling nearly as many as they could if they had their games on other platforms.
But they're also bigger branded than ever before. Like Nintendo, that's the bigger picture. Isn't
bigger
just
market still equals more money, no matter how big your market currently is. Like if
but
you
that's
can,
a fair point. But when you have one way, if you control your market a certain way, and it makes your thing much more valuable, and it continues to stay relevant. How many other games will hold their value the same way a first-party Nintendo game does?
Again,
We're
that's
talking
a
apples and
argument.
oranges here. And when we compare Sony and Microsoft,
most people who play video games aren't collectors who are like speculating on the things that they buy. It's one of the reasons why physical copies are ultimately doomed, even though I think that's kind of a bad thing because having physical copies is good. But they're not going to be able to stick around forever just because they'll become impractical at a certain point. And that will just be a huge blow to collectors specifically, although it might actually help them because games will get even more rare. But
so Norm is hitting something here that I think is lost here, right? He says, to be honest, I think if Mario and Zelda went multi-platform, I would feel like something special would be lost. To me, it'd be like a Ferrari being sold in a Toyota dealership. Something just feels off about it, right?
I mean, again, it's I don't want to sound like Shapiro, but it's like the facts don't care about. Like, I mean, yes, it might be like, oh, it's not a Nintendo platform. There's something a little different about this, but that is in your head. Like fundamentally,
no, that's about marketing and branding, man. That is completely not in your head. That is exactly how you run a whole business.
I don't think the argument could be made.
Mark, let Jeff talk.
Sorry, go ahead.
What I'm saying is like that is the core of what a business is, and if you get rid of your business identity for this like open source world crap, that kills a business, and then everything that goes that route. You will not hold on to anything special. Everybody just kind of rolls into the one. Let's put it on Steam. Let's max out the specs. That's it. It's just another bunch of files on a bigger platform. A Nintendo thing is something special. And when you change that, it's all about the branding. It's about the package. It doesn't matter if it's the most powerful, and it doesn't matter if it has the biggest install base. They, when everybody else was having an issue, they were cash solvent. They are always moving forward because they march to their own beat of the beat of their own drum, and they don't focus on trying to do things. I don't even like Nintendo. They're not even my favorite company, but you can't argue that their brand is super strong. And because of the things they do and have done, it keeps them there, and it's good business.
I think their brand is strong enough that if they were still just making games and still targeting the same low specifications and focusing on things like gameplay and not doing big cinematic, like, oh, look, you can see the peach fuzz on her face graphics, and they weren't making a console and it was just like any console you have, the new Zelda game comes out and you can play it, I don't see that as a world where people are not going to buy Zelda. They'll be like, oh, Zelda, it's on everything now. I don't care. It's like, no, it's Zelda. Zelda's huge. People will still buy it. People still buy Mario games. They'll still want to play Mario Kart. If you make cross-play Mario Kart, that's more Mario Kart players you can play with around the world. I just don't see the value in it beyond, well, it's always been that way and it's nice. It's like, that's a weak argument, though. It's hard to prove that.
See, but here's the thing you're missing is I guarantee a company like Nintendo has done the research on this. What if we were to release on PC? What if we were to release on Xbox or PlayStation and did release Mario Kart on it? What would it look like for our business? And
so you're saying like Nintendo doesn't make stupid decisions, Craig?
Listen, there's a reason why they can not make $1 for the next 150 years and still be profitable, right? And still, they are a company that is destroyed the video game industry in a good way over the last 40 years. They literally built the modern video game industry, right?
Yeah, and I like Nintendo games. Three of my favorite games the last year were Nintendo games. I'm not knocking Nintendo's ability to make good games. I just don't necessarily think the hardware they make is usually anything that special, which again, with the exception of Switch being a pretty big deal as far as form factor goes. But in general, it's like Nintendo's just got the weakest hardware that often has a gimmick that most people don't want to use, like the Wii U touchscreens, or to a degree, the motion controls on Wii, which were revolutionary and definitely help with things like VR interface now. But I still think that's ultimately what made Wii not the kind of game where hardcore gamers would want to use as their primary console, because most people just didn't like the motion controls.
Well, no, and on top of that, it wasn't a very strong console. Just technically, it wasn't a very. It didn't stack up to the PlayStation 3 or the Xbox 360. No, it does. When you go back and you look at Call of Duty on the Wii versus the PlayStation 3 and the 360, it very much matters, right?
But how does Call of Duty play on the Wii?
Like crap.
Well, I mean,
like
crap.
Oh, sorry.
But at the same time, but it goes by, like, if you see gameplay of it on YouTube, or you see a screenshot of the 360 version versus the Wii version, and the Wii version looks like looks like Roblox, right? compared to the 360 version, which looks like a Ferrari, right? Like that's your first impression of the game. You don't even have a chance to get to the point of how does it play, right? It has to look good visually. With that said, great discussion, and I appreciate it. Bob came in and says, emulation is like masturbation. You can say it's the same or better than the real thing, but it just doesn't feel, it just isn't going to feel the same. And you won't convince people who prefer the real thing it's better. Thanks, Bob. Appreciate that.
Disagree.
Radial Drago says, how I interpret Mark's logic, why choose between McDonald's or Burger King? Both their burgers come from cows. Yeah. Thank you, Drago. Appreciate that. Sigrun says, previous generations of consoles ran on mostly proprietary OSs, which made multi-platform development a legit concern for developers. Now all consoles are basically just specialized PCs. This is true.
100% right, Sigma.
Mage says the Master Chief Collection doesn't even run correctly on the Xbox. Imagine a port job. The port to the PC didn't go well at all. Thanks, Mage.
I mean, works really well now, but it did have a rough launch.
Lyman, the Coconut says, it's hard for us to argue about exclusivity because we aren't MBAs with expertise or knowledge of marketing. Eliminating exclusivity could have long-term effects. We armchair experts wouldn't know. So that's what I'm saying. Nintendo has certainly done this research along the way. 1,000%.
I think they're being hard-headed.
Master Gawa says exclusive sell consoles. Nintendo wins because of exclusive. Microsoft fails because they lack exclusives. Got to run. UK police didn't like my language. Thanks, Master Gawa. Appreciate that. Victor came in and says, Mark, you started with your conclusion, then found reasons to get to it. You are incredibly wrong about exclusivity, and there's no way I can explain in Super Chats. Thank you, Victor.
I disagree, but generally I like telling people where I'm going and then explaining my way to it. I wasn't thinking those arguments up on the fly. I have these in the hard drive. Like I've had these arguments before. Trust me.
And I think this is really, really great. I love it. I love it. It's really, really fun discussion. Mark came and says, or Michael came and says, Mark's argument totally disregards the fact that Nintendo designs their systems and controllers to provide unique experiences not available anywhere.
How unique is the Nintendo Switch Pro controller, really? Like, I mean, it's got a good gyro in it. I like it. It's a good controller. But what cannot be done on a PlayStation controller that is done on Switch?
Play Zelda.
But Tim came in, says
I can play Zelda with a PlayStation controller right now using my PC.
Tim came in, says Sega stopped producing an exclusive plastic box, and they're still around. This is true, but they're not nearly as relevant, or profitable.
Sonic ruled the world at once.
That's right. They were number one at some point.
Sonic and Sega, though, is now much more profitable than they were in those days, though, because Persona and Yakuza are absolutely killing it right now. Sonic isn't even their biggest thing pulling in money. So
that's interesting. I would actually love to see if that's the case. If they are truly more profitable than they were.
How much
back
you save on R&D? Like, I mean, researching, developing, and producing a console is not cheap. Like, they lose a lot of money making the console as well.
I don't know. I mean, it's a broad statement that we don't know if true is true. I mean, a little research would be good on that. Alec Baldwin's finger came in and says, remember when the PS3 allowed you to install your own OS, effectively making your console a PC? Hey, thanks so much, Alec Baldwin's finger. Great to see you, my man. Thank you so much for your support.
Yeah, you could install Linux on the PS3.
Toma came in and says, with all these animal games coming up, how do you guys feel about Tokyo Jungle? Thanks, Toma. Appreciate that.
Haven't heard of it.
I think that's a very poorly rated PS3 game, if I remember correctly.
Listen, while you guys were doing your whole conversation, I actually grabbed a video, and I wanted to play it before we transition to something else.
Move along.
Move along. Move along.
It's from the special edition, Blabs. Come on.
Because I could see Craig type in the private chat. So all right, let's move on. And I'm like, I got this. I can help.
I just got V2 of the despecialized editions, and man, that's some good Star Wars experience right there.
Well, I appreciate that discussion, and I'll tell you that'll certainly be clipped because I think it's a really good discussion about it'll be titled "The Autistic Conversation of the Autistic."
Not autistic officially now.
Yes, I know, but not you. Just the conversation itself, or intense debate over exclusivity, or something like that. It'll be good.
Mark versus Jeff.
Angry Salt Shaker came in with a 10. Says they hated Mark because he told the truth. Hey, thanks, Angry
Why you
Salt
booing
Shaker.
me? I'm right.
Delta says, speaking of console mascots, isn't Spyro and Crash under Microsoft now? And since Activision was the parent company, yes, that is correct. And Anti-Hero says, I feel like we should all apologize to Uwe Boll since he actually made a few decent films. I love Postal, and if you don't, you probably need a hug. P.S. You might have missed my message regarding Beautiful Ladies I've sent about 10 hours ago. Anti-Hero, I did see it. It says, regarding the Scarlet versus Gal topic, Gal Gadot topic, I mentioned Deborah Ann Wolf from the Daredevil series.
Beautiful lady.
Yes, a beautiful woman that doesn't speak in your speak to your inner caveman, but might bring out your inner knight who'd be willing to defend her honor with his life. Thank you, Anti-Hero. Appreciate your support over there. Also, continuing on, Aaron says, just look at the perception of PlayStation now. Now all their games come to Steam. Everyone says they have no games. Also, console software sales are at an all-time low for PlayStation.
I mean, again, though, like that's the problem with the people who obviously did not want to play those games and didn't buy them, right? Like, if you're buying a game because it's an exclusive to your system, I don't see that as a good reason to spend $70 right now. Like, it's not enough.
I was going to buy
the game's got to be good.
But Spider-Man's coming to PC, and I'll just get it then. Like, that was all PlayStation had, because Horizon and God of War, whatever that became, I'm not into it anymore. But Spidey would have made me spend $500.
And the downside. The downside to the staggering, though, not just releasing them at the same time, is by the time Spider-Man 2 comes out on PC, you might just not have any interest in it anymore. And that's why I would make the argument that like the staggering doesn't really make too much of a difference. And the reason Helldivers was as popular as it was is because it was a day-and-date PC PlayStation release. It is not on Xbox. I almost brain faded hard.
So Nash came in here and says Nintendo has put out games on other platforms in the past, CDI and mobile. They didn't do well outside their ecosystem. Now, Nash,
which games did they put there?
Let me just say this: the CDI was the anomaly, right? Because that was when Nintendo was not Nintendo that it is today in that situation. With that said, you mentioned the mobile games. I do have some data. I saw the super chat, so I did a quick Google search on this, and I found this article, which is pretty amazing when it comes to their mobile games. Right now, these are games that are not ports of existing games. They are games designed specifically for mobile, a mobile experience. So with that said, what do you think? They have released 6 games for mobile. These include Dr. Mario World, Super Mario Run, Dragalia Lost, Mario Kart Tour, Animal Cross Pocket Camp, and Fire Emblem Heroes. 6 games. What do you think their total revenue was for these 6 games? This is as of 2022, so this has certainly gone up.
If it's mobile, the number might be insane. I have no idea, though.
Jeff, you got any thoughts on this?
4 million.
40 million?
No, 4.
4 million. You think they generated 4 million on this? Okay.
Like, you're talking like 4 million, like unit sales, right? We're not talking.
No, I think total revenue of these games.
Oh, sorry. Let's say $50 million.
$50 million. This number is going to shock you. This is as of 2022. Nintendo Mobile has generated $1.8 billion in revenue from mobile games.
Oh, wow.
I'm shocked by this, but the vast majority of it coming from a game I've never even heard of with Fire Emblem Heroes. Super Mario Run, less than $100 million. Dr. Mario World kind of came and went, but in Mario Kart Tour, $270 million. But this Fire Emblem Heroes decimated them all right here. Absolutely destruction. So the idea of Nintendo going outside of its ecosystem, I mean, there's truth in that, and they have absolutely dipped their toe in the mobile games market. But you wonder, is Fire Emblem's Heroes the outlier, or is Dr. Mario World the outlier when it comes to this? Because that's a pretty crazy stat right there. So
I think these games are hard to rate against what a port of an actual console Nintendo game would make, because mobile games, especially the way these ones are monetized, are primarily with microtransactions and gacha style marketing. So you can make a hell of a lot more money doing that in perpetuity, but that doesn't mean that if they released, like I said, pick any random game from 30 years ago that's a beloved Nintendo game. If you sold it on Steam for $10, which is probably more than they should be charging for a Super NES ROM, it would sell over 1 million copies. And like I feel like there's no world in which it wouldn't, just because people would want that Nintendo game on their Steam account. So I don't know. I don't see them losing money if they were porting, especially older games. Like put the whole GameCube library on PC tomorrow. Dolphin won't be a problem for you anymore, which is the GameCube emulator, and people will pay you money for, I don't know, Star Fox Adventure.
Well, some people are like, Craig doesn't know Fire Emblem. Of course I know Fire Emblem, but Miku came and says Fire Emblem Heroes is a gacha. Guilty for spending. Thank you, Miku. Appreciate that.
I have a wife who plays Genshin Impact. I know the pain.
90 Dragoon says, I need a cigarette after that debate. Don't smoke, but I might today. Thank you. Appreciate that. That is great. And Kyle came in and says, Mark's argument is essentially for Nintendo to become Sega by abandoning consoles. Not sure they'd last if they did.
Well, Nintendo has many more software brands that are like heads and tails above anything Sega had when Sega decided to stop making consoles. Like they just do. Zelda, Mario, anything from that whole if they're in Smash Brothers and they're a Nintendo character, you give them a game and put it on another platform and it will sell. That's my position, at least.
All right, let's go ahead and take a deep breath and move on from that. Blabs, did you want to get to this? Did you want to get on to Plain Talk?
I do want to hit Plain Talk real fast.
Do you?
Plain Talk.
All right, we're here. Blabs, what do you want to talk about today with Plain Talk?
All right, so there's this new game. Well, it's not a new game, but it's going to be new for airlines to play whilst you're in the air using your eyes. So there's now a raw dog flight simulator that uses eye tracking. So players who are on the, sitting in their flights could just simply stare at the back of the seat and play the game with your eyes.
That's what flight raw dogging is. No phone, no book, just mental toughness for an 8-hour flight.
Yeah, so there you go, guys.
Yeah, have you never heard of raw dogging a flight, Craig?
What, you mean just not getting out technology?
Yeah, no, nothing. Having nothing to distract yourself, to say, like, no, you're not asking for drinks, you're not having a meal, it's just staring at the back of the thing. Understanding what you're actually doing, which is just waiting and sitting until you arrive. Builds character, even though I think it's super lame.
Yeah, I mean, I
Builds
guess.
character, but I think it's lame. Wow. So yeah, that's
all right.
That's a thing now.
Well,
and no, you can't sleep either. Sleep is not raw dogging. Stay away.
You know, maybe that's what was going on with this guy in this other story, Blabs. He was raw dogging his flight because what happened else? What else happened in Plain Talk today?
All right, so real fast, guys. A man jumped out of a plane in the air, and it's all been recorded. Craig, would you mind?
Video of this?
Oh, yeah, I do. I thought you had it too. Okay.
I do not.
Please hold. Okay, here we go. So, yes, like I said, there's a dude who jumped out of a plane. Now, we don't actually see the guy jumping out of the plane. So, here we go, guys. Just enjoy the ride.
Unlike him.
Yeah.
50-0. My co-pilot just ran out the back of the plane. He just did what now? He just ran out the back of the plane. You don't have a co-pilot on you, sir? No, he just jumped out the back of the plane. Right.
What?
Would you like me to circle where he left at? Say that again? Would you like me to circle where he got out at, or you got me on track? We still have you on track. Did you need something else? No, the dude literally jumped out the back of the plane without parachute. Did you need to do something else, circle or something? Or? No, I need to land. I'm just making you aware you're going to have a dead body from what I just called you at. He just jumped out the back of the plane.
Isn't that insane? This man committed suicide.
Maybe he was
everybody else in the plane was like, see ya.
So I'm saying maybe he was trying to raw dog it the entire time and he just couldn't handle it. He just jumped right out the back of the plane.
Yeah.
Just throwing it
Beta
out, man.
level mental toughness.
The tower was just like, I'm sorry, what'd you say now? You need me to do what?
Wow. I mean, that's crazy. Where did this take place? Do we have any idea?
No, it's just, I have no idea where it's from.
Okay. Well, look, take it from me. Don't raw dog your flights. Otherwise, you may just be inclined to jump on out the back of the plane like the pilot did.
Yikes.
Very few people will be impressed by the raw dogging.
No, this is true. This
Are
has
you
been
still? Why do you keep saying that, Mark?
Well, because raw dogging also means something else, and I think it's rude.
Plain talk.
Yeah.
All right, let's go ahead and move on. An update from yesterday. We talked about OG RuneScape. Did you guys see the news on this, where they are updating a game from 2021 or whatever, or I'm sorry, from 2001 to include pronouns? Did you guys see this?
No.
Yeah,
I've never been a RuneScape guy, so that's not really what I'm plugged into. The X-Ray Girl plays that too as well.
Well, she can see the wonderful graphical style of this right here. This is the graphical style RuneScape, where they've now added body types instead of male and female. Now just body type A and B, and you can add the pronouns he, him, they, them, or she, her. So you can look like this dude and still be a she, her, which is fine. Now this has been an ongoing thing over the last little bit. Why are you updating a game from 2001 with all this here? So here we are. And what you're seeing now is this is the old school. This is from this Twitter handle right here. It says old school RuneScape moderator Jag Ash. Hence, misgendering players will be a bannable offense after forcing through pronouns and body type A and B change to a 23-year-old game without a poll. Jage had previously promised only changes with 70% approval will be implemented. There was no approval for this. This was just pushed on through. And this is said, hey, can we have a report option in the game for misgendering with the latest update? I think this should also be implemented. Thanks for the suggestion and for sharing your concern about people being treated that way. Cheers, Ash. We could maybe add the pronouns before people RSN, register screen names, in the chat. I expect some engine work would be needed for that. So the idea that it could be potentially a bannable offense in RuneScape for a game that you're talking about, a game that is literally older than people can, but like older than 21 years old, right? People, if you started playing that when you were, 23 years old, if you started playing this game and when you were 2, you'd be old enough to drink at this point. And they're going back and making these changes. So, and you could potentially be banned based off of not going with these new changes. So, Jeff, you're shaking your head.
It's so pointless. You already know what I'm going to say. Why would they do this? Come on, it's so dumb. This is the most pointless things to worry about, folks. That's what we do in 2024.
Yep. Mark, you got anything on that?
I think if you're getting enough people demanding a they option, throwing it in there to me is not a super big deal. But to say that in a multiplayer game, it's a bannable offense to misgender someone when most people are probably not looking at the other player's pronouns, they're looking at their character model and how they're designed. And gender, I think, for the most part, is something that you don't get to say what yours is. People just notice it. It's sort of the way I look at it. So,
hey, don't be a bigot, Mark. Don't be a bigot.
Yeah. I'm pretty liberal for the most part, but yeah.
Yeah.
I think banning people for what they say in game is stupid in general. So I was never going to be on board with that part.
Well, yeah, right. And the idea this is very 2024 and 2021 and 2001. That's what we're doing here, which is it's crazy to see. All right, let's continue to move on. But before we do, Ian came in with a massive 50 euro monies. He says, someone jumped out of a plane in the back. Control tower, stop calling me. That's really what it sounded like. I was like, I'm sorry, was there an issue there? Thank you, Ian. Appreciate that. That is wonderful. Look at that. There we go. Look at that. Our first set of the day. That's nice. Norm says, were there Disney swingers on the plane? Let's go. No, unfortunately not.
Oh my God.
Yeah. And Charles came in and says, we're just normal body type A. No. You can say men. It's okay. It's all right. Thank you, Charles. Appreciate that.
It's not bad, actually.
It's good. All right, here we go. And Gushiam came in and says, again, the silverback gorilla was proven right about the pronoun mafia. Suck it, Ackman, Asmongold, Moist Critical. Thank you, Gushiam. Appreciate that. All right, let's move on. We have some more censorship coming to a remastered game. This has been talked the last couple days. over on the X's. And we're going to go to Bounding into Comics for this story, as there is more censorship in the Dead Rising Deluxe Remastered, as there was talks a couple days ago. We did not talk about this on the show, but there was talks that you are no longer going to be able to take salacious photos with your camera in that of women. That is a thing that you're no longer going to be able to do. Now, Dead Rising is a game that's built around a photographer going around
a tabloid photographer.
This is what it does. It's Frank West going around and taking pictures, and he's literally going to the spot to take pictures for the tabloid and become famous for this, right? And it's such a fun game. And when the remastered was announced, people were like, "Oh, that's interesting." But now they have removed anti-communist dialogue from the Cliff.
I didn't see that coming, honestly.
Yes. Here we go. Another day, another discovered instance of censorship in Capcom upcoming Dead Rising Deluxe Remaster. This time, as the new trailer has confirmed the removal of the anti-communist dialogue line from the player's pre-fight conversation with psychopath boss enemy Cliff Hudson. Having survived the initial outbreak with humanity intact, but their minds completely shattered due to the sheer madness surrounding them, the various psychopaths in Dead Rising spend their days stalking the Willamette Mall, unleashing mindless violence against any and everything that moves, regardless of the undead status. One broken survivor is the aforementioned Cliff Hudson, a Vietnam veteran whose particular break from reality sees him falling into war flashbacks that causes him to falsely believe he's back in the battlefield. As a result, upon his first meeting with protagonist Frank West during the Hatchet Man mission, Cliff, standing underneath a collection of freshly decapitized zombie corpses he strung up as warnings to his enemies, demands the war photographer to provide him with, quote, name and rank, soldier. However, before the confused Frank can even process Cliff's request, the soldier immediately concludes that he's Viet Cong, in turn taunting, "You can't tell me, can you, fella? Oh, yeah, I know why. It's because you're Viet Cong. I'm right, aren't I? You aren't nothing but a filthy communist. You, son, are going to tell me where the gorilla's hiding out." And then he yells before lunging at Frank. By the time I'm done beating information out of you, you're going to be begging for death to be coming to take you away. There we are.
Is the suggestion that it's offensive for a Vietnam veteran who's obviously very shell-shocked and in an apocalypse situation, calling someone a commie is an insult? Not even like something with vulgarities in it, just, "You commie." Is that too far now? Like, what the hell?
Well, here we are. It says, as seen in the August 12th trailer for Dead Rising's, for the trailer, Creepy Rabbit DLC pack, which if purchased grants players access to the Phineas outfit, as well as new background music track. In the updated version of the fight, rather than Frank using the filthy communist, Cliff instead decrees him as a filthy animal, which is better? The idea that you're calling somebody a communist or an animal, or are they just equally the same? I don't know.
Someone who was doing that line must have recently watched Home Alone.
That's what I was thinking.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah,
so
I hate it when remasters get any changes, honestly. I like the pure remasters. It's just like, make the game run better and be able to scale, and that's all we need. They just did a great job on Doom. Doom 1 and 2 are now sold together for $10, and if you already own them, you have it for free. And Night Dive worked on that, and basically all their remasters are just 1-to-1. And that's how it should be done.
Doom 2.
Yeah.
Could you see the people who were remember Chop up in Seattle or whatever that was, that during COVID, right? All those people who were like,
the Capitol Hill Autonomous Zone.
Right,
Chaz.
right. Could you, or Chaz? That's what it was. Yeah, Chaz.
And they had to change it to the Capitol Hill Occupy protest, so it became Chop.
Oh, okay. Well, whatever. Could you imagine these communist people being offended because they change it from communist to animals? I could absolutely see a situation where they're like, "You can't. It's implied we're animals."
Yeah. Is the word
kind
Viet
of stuff
Cong
you need to play
still
on
there?
Sound World?
Does he still say Viet Cong?
I don't know if it's referenced. I don't know. We can. You want to watch the trailer real quick to see what it has to say? It's only 15 seconds long.
I guess my point would be, though, that like if you're saying Viet Cong and then filthy commie, that you're referring to a specific group of Vietnamese people in the 1960s. So changing from commie, which they were communists, to animals is arguably more offensive, I guess.
Maybe
I like to think about that, but still.
Here's this 15 seconds here.
Name and rank, soldier. You are nothing but a filthy animal.
Oh, they don't do the first line.
There we go. Yeah, we don't see it. So, yeah, that's kind of where we're at right now with video games. And the fact, like, this is honestly, like, it's Capcom. This is a Japanese company that's making these changes. It's really, it's weird, man. It's
Western
so
release,
weird.
though.
Western release.
I mean, like there's people translating it into English. Obviously, like, I mean, they're probably just using a lot of the same stuff from the original. But I feel like this isn't necessarily a Japanese dudes in an office decision. It's Capcom America saying, I don't know if we should be denigrating the communists, you know, because we're a multi-billion-dollar corporation who makes video games and sells things for a lot of money. But
Right.
we want to be communists, and we want them to think we want to be communists. It's the dumbest aspect of translation and localization. I hate it.
The idea of a communist buying a game through capitalism is hilarious, by the way. I love that. Like, let's be real. Through capitalism is phenomenal. I just love everything about that idea. Matthew came in and says the only remaster I really enjoy was those Destroy All Human remasters. 1 and 2 were released a couple of years back, and they were perfect. Thank you, Matthew. Appreciate that. And Scarpy says, boy, am I glad I got Dead Rising on home console and not a platform that can allow that censorship through an update. Hey, thanks, Scarpy. Appreciate that. It's a nice little subtle dig at you, Mark. I'm just going to throw it out there.
Should I bring up emulators again, or?
Oh, Mark. All right. Okay, let's go on. We had that big, long discussion in the middle of the show, so we're going to pass a bunch of stuff and go straight to the end of the show and hit our thumbnail topic for the day. Appreciate you guys popping in. We got a lot to get into. Now, Nick Calandra is like the boss over at this group called Second Wind. And Second Wind is just as a background, they started off as escapist. Apparently, they all either quit and or got fired in some way along the way. And they started up Second Wind. And Second Wind launched a Patreon. It was massively successful, spearheaded by, really headlined by a content creator named Yahtzee, who's been around for a long time, right? And Yahtzee he was on Escapist for a long time, obviously now a Second Wind. He's a dude who I think draws the bulk of their audience along the way. But there was a lot of back and forth about this company over the last month or so, last couple months. And we had Nick Calandra on when they first launched Second Wind to talk about the launch and leaving Escapist and everything. Literally, I think the first day that he was on, that they launched. And over the course since then, last several months, we've had several back and forths with him. We had him on the show not too long ago, and I invited him on. Whenever we have a guest on that's quote unquote on the other side or deemed as the other side, I very much welcome those conversations. I encourage having conversations with people that don't see eye to eye so you can get out of your bubble, right? And I think that's not just us getting out of our bubble, but them getting out of their bubble as well. I open those conversations. I am very open to those conversations. I very much enjoy those conversations. And I think they're important. And when we had Nick on, I thought it was really important to have that conversation publicly and not privately, so we could actually serve as an example to show people that those conversations can actually be had and be treated. You know, those conversations can be had cordially and respectfully without resulting into bullshit, shit slinging, right? And on top of that, I think there's also a lot that gets lost in translation when it comes to just having those conversations via DM or text, right? You can hear people's you can hear the inflection in their voice. You can see how they're speaking to you. Anyways, Nick came on our show, and since he was on our show, Second Wind has begun to crumble a little bit. There was their lead salesperson resigned, as well as their number 2 content creator, this guy named Frost. He goes by the Other Frost. And he put his resignation out, and he said, and it was a very public resignation on X, and it really skewered Nick Calandra. And he said, look, I'm going to release a video about this. Well, that video was released last night, and it really goes into some personal beefs that he had with how Nick ran the company, as well as some professional beefs of exactly what he was doing and the exorbitant spending and such along the way. But the biggest thing that came out of it, and we were mentioned in it, and I'm going to get to that in just a little bit, but the biggest thing that came out of it was the allegations of Nick trading coverage for vacations and money and, kind of a tit for tat, which goes back to 10 years ago. And this, I'm not saying Nick did this 10 years ago, but the way I'm saying this goes back to a decade ago with the original Gamergate and now Gamergate 2. The original idea behind Gamergate was that it was built around journalistic integrity, right? And then that got shifted by said journalist to no, it's a harassment campaign. And I've said many, many times on the show that when the first Gamergate was happening, it was just kind of this thing that was going on in the background. I honestly was not concerned with what was going on. I just heard the phrase Gamergate. But as I've learned more about it over the last year or 2 years, the picture has become considerably more clear as to what happened. And we've seen this happen. We've seen the response from various video game journalists over the last year or last 6 months or so since this second uptick. The flames being fanned again with Kotaku writers and The Verge and various other outlets, The Gamer, and the protection that they've had for journalists. Whereas this goes back to the Sweet Baby Inc. stuff. Anyways, with all that said, Frost released a video last night, and it, like I said, it really went in deep on Nick Calandra. And I wanted to play just a minute or two from this thing. Now, Mark, have you seen this video?
Yes, I watched it this morning.
Did you get a chance to watch it, Jeff?
I have not.
Okay. So I wanted to play just a small snippet of this video here, because like I said, we are referenced in this video, and I think it's important to address it. So here we go. Let's go play this.
Even the little things became big things. Example, Nick drew heavy criticism back when he made the Kingdom Come Deliverance documentary. The head of the company was a Gamergator and shared alt-right views. Nick approached this controversy purely from Warhorse Studios' angle without critically examining the director's stances, which some viewers thought was a bad call, causing Nick to argue with them. This felt inconsistent with Nick because I know he believes in asking the hard questions, having before ambushed people he was interviewing with uncomfortable questions the interviewee asked to be withheld beforehand. Nick trades good press coverage and holds back criticism in exchange for paid documentaries, trips, gear, and job opportunities. And a lot of his connections stem from his gamumentary days.
Okay, I really want to back that up really quick. This is a very, if you're a video game journalist, you cannot do this.
Withheld before.
Calling the Warhorse guy alt-right views is a little bit of an over-exaggeration too. His whole thing was that, look, I just don't want there being anything but white people in this game about Croatia during the Holy Roman Empire. There just wouldn't be any. I'm sorry, I wanted to be authentic. And people called him racist for that. So
right. And that's the one thing that you've seen continuously over and over again is the idea of like people say, oh, it's Side Scroll, it's a alt-right podcast. Like, yes, we have conversations. That's what we do. And apparently having conversations and asking questions is alt-right today. So there we go. But yes, so let's continue here. But once again, if you're a journalist, you cannot allow this.
Nick trades good press coverage and holds back criticism in exchange for paid documentaries.
You're holding
Republic. I apologize.
You cannot hold back criticism for paid anything, right? As soon as you do that, your credibility is gone, especially 100%. With your audience, right? Let's continue.
Trips, gear, and job opportunities, and a lot of his connections stem from his gamumentary days. His staff at the time was not pleased when they found out. This recontextualized one of Nick's patterns of behavior. A lot of Nick's personal tastes and biases that he pushed on his staff for coverage or restricted them from criticizing led back to his PR connections. He was making deals behind the scenes without them knowing. I even found one where he threw in a positive review to sweeten the deal. All for flights, gifts, job favors, documentary opportunities, none disclosed.
Now, I do think that in this situation, he says, I will not disclose the games because it could be put the writers at risk. At sometimes the games at the outlet would only have one or two providing coverage, making it easy to know who divulged information. Right? Like if those things are being traded though by these developers, like that absolutely should be called out because it's
100%.
a two-way street when it comes to this stuff. This is not just a journalism problem. This is a industry-wide problem along the way. So let's continue.
That made us look at his odd social media addiction in a different light. I also thought Nick flew off the handle, but something was off. Nick had already been made aware of his problem and vowed to be better back when he was tricked into publishing false evidence. He behaved himself, sort of, and was a bit more vague and defensive. Then he went on the attack almost out of nowhere until he embarrassed himself on a podcast, which I warned him about. He claims he stopped because he was...
Okay, so he references us in this situation. This is a conversation that I had with Nick publicly, where I just said, like, hey man, let's just come on the show and talk about it. And he says, how about you talk? I actually didn't even see this. He says, how about you two talk about it like adults in DMs and leave it at that? Should be fine if this is all about communication and clarity and not content, right? And I referenced this before, but this is about, for me, it was about setting an example that these conversations can be had publicly and civilly. And when you do that privately, you know, I think that there's a lot that can be lost in translation along the way. So for me, doing it publicly actually was very key to the conversation. But that's just me.
Was threatened with termination, but that came after the fact that his apparent Lady Fair had sided with his arch nemesis, who once again pretended to not know that Nick existed.
So that's pretty much where he talked about this. And this is also the response that we saw a lot, or we saw from people who says, you really don't need to go on these podcasts and debate these clowns. And I want to be really clear. At no point during that was there debate. There was no points scored. Nobody's over there trying to humiliate anybody. There's a difference between having a conversation and having a debate. I am not a debater. I do not know how to debate. I know how to discuss things, And do I do it well? Not all the time, right? But I am open to having those discussions. So the idea of having a debate with people is really asinine. I save that for Mark and Jeff when it comes to console exclusivity. I'll let them do that, right?
I'm a master debater.
That's right. You sure are.
I'm a cunning linguist.
That's right. You are. You guys are both wonderful when it comes to that. But as pointed out by Grums over on X, and I think this is very important. Like these accusations, just taking a step back of like the idea of trading coverage for certain things as a journalist. This is like the entire reason, from my understanding, why Gamergate started at all. And Mark, you were there. You were a part of it. Like, tell me if I'm wrong. Or if Grums is wrong.
Yeah, no, I mean, the Gamergate started because there was a big question in ethics and games journalism. The problem, I think, with it was because it revolved around a girl being promiscuous, people who are anti the message that was important, being the ethics in journalism and coverage not being something that's able to be bought, even with just favors and exclusive deals and, you know, things like that. But I think because it became a women's issue, a lot of it got obfuscated and confused, and it made it really difficult for the people trying to argue the actual point to make points that stuck and were just, yeah, but you're just misogynist. It was a weird time to be talking about game stuff. I'll say that much.
Right. And, you know, as pointed out, well, I'm going to continue Grums' tweet here because I think it's important. He said, journos denied it, said it was conspiracy theories. We were lied to. It says Nick trades good press coverage and holds back criticism in exchange for paid documentaries, trips, gear, and opportunities. He was making deals behind the scenes. He threw in a positive review to sweeten the deal. That is the issue. That's always been the issue, right? The idea, well, hey, we'll bump that score up a little bit for a little bit of moolah along the way.
You can give it a 6, right? 6 is the thing that makes it not rotten on Rotten Tomatoes. So
right. You know, and what are we going to do to
3 that it probably deserves?
Jeff, does this like surprise you at all when you see this stuff?
No, I think we all deep down know. And that's, you know, the reality of the situation with a lot of this stuff.
Right. Just to kind of reiterate what I posted over on X, I said, look, I see side scrollers was mentioned in the video, and I think that's totally fair. I feel like having that conversation with Nick was a good thing. It was meant to be a public example that differing opinions could have a conversation and ultimately take everyone out of their bubbles. There was no debate or points being scored. Unfortunately, regardless of intent, people will see it that way. It is what it is. Now, to be clear, I think that this guy, this Frost, that other Frost, or the other Frost right here, I think he is immensely talented, and he's going to be a tremendous success, regardless of if he's with Second Wind or Escapist or whoever, or by himself. I think he'll see tremendous success when it comes to that stuff. So that should not be lost. And I think there's also one other very key element to this, and that is the idea of who in the media will go and cover this story. Because this is a very big accusation along the way. The idea that he traded good scores for money, more or less. So which media outlets will cover this? Will Kotaku? Will Gamers? Will, go down the line? Picket, Polygon? Will IGN? Who will go down the line and actually cover this like they should? Who will hold their media brethren, their contemporaries, accountable in the situation? And the other question I have here is there's two questions. Will Second Wind do anything about this? If this is truly a group, a collective of people that all have quote unquote equal ownership to this, how quickly will Nick Calandra be removed from his position? And then number two, who the hell is going to touch Nick Calandra when this is done? This is some pretty damning accusations along the way. So, Mark, your thoughts?
I mean, is he married?
It's not what I meant, Mark.
Yeah, no. But anyways, I guess I mean, it looks very bad for Nick. I mean, I was listening to it in my car on my way to work, so I wasn't looking at the screen. I actually didn't even realize that you were in it. So I haven't gone over the receipts that are posted in detail or anything. So a lot of this might still be alleged. I guess I don't want to act like I know everything about the story because I listened to one video while I was driving to work. But it really is kind of a look behind the curtain of someone who was being like, hey, I don't do any of this stuff that you're accusing video games journalists of doing on this show. And then it's like, well, according to Frost, you did. So it's like, who's right? What actually happened? That's sort of where I'm at with it.
Jeff, you got any thoughts on this?
Well, this is all a new story to me as of the show. So I do remember the OG Gamergate days. I remember all of that. And I mean, talking about, well, it wouldn't be collusion, but, paying critics or, sweetening the deals. I mean, we hear about that all the time. So it wouldn't be surprising that people are shilling out for the benefits. Like I said, it's just not surprising. I don't have anything prolific to say about it.
Well, we'll see how this goes along the way. I think the response from Second Wind, probably today, there should be some sort of response talking about this. And if Nick holds on to his position there without, if he goes in and he actually provides proof, that's one thing. But if he was to come, I mean, by the way, I'm blocked by Nick, which is amazing because we had this conversation publicly. He came on our show and then I just got blocked out of nowhere. So I can't see what he has going on right there. So it'll be interesting to see what Second Wind has to say about this and the career progression for Nick Calandra.
The last time he was on, though, didn't he say that when controversy comes up around him, he just kind of blocks everybody so that he doesn't have to see anything? But I guess just not going on Twitter isn't an option.
No.
Yeah. Right. I mean, and he definitely has some sort of social media addiction when it comes to all this. So yeah, man, it's a mess. It's a giant pile of shit. And I think more than anything, all the conspiracy theorists, right, who said, hey, this is what's wrong with journalism, right? Over the last decade, they've all been validated. Every single one of them. If these are true, all those concerns that they had, everything that started the original Gamergate has been validated at this point. And the idea that it was skewed by the media that was being criticized, skewed to a totally different narrative along the way, I think this very much validates everything. So, with that said, validation doesn't change the cultural impact that Gamergate had on culture, which we're seeing now in games from 2001 where they're going back and making changes to them because they need to be up to date.
The pattern for these things is generally, no, that's not happening, you're crazy, to, yeah, it's happening, but it doesn't happen very often and it's not a big deal. So I guess the next step is going to be, yeah, we take money for good reviews and that's a good thing. It's great.
Right.
It's how we pay our bills. You don't want us to eat?
Right. And the answer is, I'm very curious to see what has happened to their Patreon. I think that's there's a thing called Grapheon, I think it is, yeah, and seeing if the second win, if they've seen a drop off at all from that, because I think that's going to be the most fascinating thing. Will people who have followed Second Wind, will they go in and change? Oh, and they sure as hell have. Okay, yeah. So here it is, courtesy of Graphtreon, which allows you to chart some of these things. They've seen you can see their revenue initially right here, and they've seen a dramatic drop off here in the last day, where people pulling funds. I mean, well, it's starting to go down. That looks dramatic, but it's really only about $1,000 or so. But $1,000 with any business is, at least a small business, is a very big deal.
Is that dip in the middle the era where Frost left? Like, I think it was like a few people that quit, right?
That was yes, that is exactly what it was. That is because he announced it on July 31st. So
there was probably a lot of people that were kind of thinking about it and weren't sure, and I'm willing to bet that they're the ones who just was like, "Yep, I'm out."
Yeah. Scarfy came in and says, "Too bad Nick doesn't have someone's unfaithful, failed model of a girlfriend to hide behind him and claim sexism is over." Scarfy, I don't understand that reference, but thank you.
X-Ray Girl has never worked as a model, okay, and she'd be fantastic.
Okay. Shrapnel says, Craig family man, therefore alt-right. Yes, apparently that is. I do like having my family. It's great. Minor came in and says, Mark is right. Jeff had weak arguments. Oh,
yeah, I respect Jeff a lot. Like, it's okay. We don't need to agree on that. It's fine.
That's right. Scarpy came in and says, you had to go to the Chinese Wikipedia to learn about Gamergate. Yeah, that's true.
When information freedom is better in China.
Yeah, that's where we're at. That's where we're at right now. And Soul Silver says, I'm not surprised about all this at all, but I am disgusted and disappointed by how bad this has turned into. Right. Thanks, Soul Silver. Appreciate that. All right. Jay Reds came in and says, Capcom has been getting woke here for a good minute now. It all started 8 years ago when Street Fighter V came out and said they removed the R-Cammy slap. That was her critical art move initially during beta, but then it got screen censored on full release. Appreciate that. And Jeff says, hey, John came in with the 5, says, hey, Jeff, has anyone ever said you look like Larry Joe Campbell?
I don't know who that is. I get a lot of people, but I don't know who Larry Joe Campbell is. Let me look him up real quick.
All right. There we go. All right. We have a lot
I don't see it. I don't see it.
Pull it up. Let's see.
So he's a former actor. Hang on. Let me grab this thing. Hello, StreamYards. Okay.
Oh, that guy?
Yeah, he's an actor.
He looks like Bryan Cranston.
Yeah, I don't see it.
I don't see it at all either.
Yeah, I've heard Vince Vaughn, cousin of The Rock.
Vince Vaughn I could sort of see, but that guy, I forgot all about him. But he was on According to Jim, wasn't he?
Yeah.
I used to love that show, man. Good stuff.
All right. Look, we got a lot of support, but here's the thing. I want to remind you guys, today is our 1.5 year birthday. We were at show 300 what?
378, I think I said.
378. That's pretty awesome. We've been doing this 378 episodes in. Today we've been live for 18 months as of today, bringing you guys stuff Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. Central Time. To celebrate 18 months, we are busting out a 50% off annual support over at Side Scrollers Podcast. If you use promo code NORMAL, that is our locals page. If you've ever been to locals, you can check it out. It's awesome. And we just updated it. It looks really, really good. And it's a great place to support. So if you guys want to support, that's a great place to do it. It's $55 for the entire year. We'd really appreciate your support over there. So head on over there, and that will allow us to produce more exclusive content. I want to do Blabs and I are already sitting down, and we're going to shoot some stuff this next week, some fun reactionary stuff. I also have visions of doing some exclusive live content over there where we get people involved, get them in the same room, and invest a little bit of money into that, and bring you guys some really good stuff. So once again, head over to sidescrollerspodcast.com and use promo code NORMAL when you support. We'd really appreciate that. Get literally half off right now. Look at Jeff's eyes. He loves it. All right. With that said, let's get to some of your support today during this show. Let's fire away, Blaz. What do we got?
All right, over on local, Spoon Ninja just, decided to drop dollars left and right. And for $1 says, oh, yeah, someone will mention Conan at some point. Yeah, always you.
Crom! Too much?
She has no idea what that reference is.
She needs to watch Conan the Barbarian then. That's not my fault. It's hers.
Maybe that's something. Maybe that's something we could potentially do exclusively over at sidescrollerspodcast.com. Promo code NORMAL.
I want chips. Anyway. Hey, baby girl. Jake's calling. Sorry, Blabs. Talking to Craig. Shout out to Jeff from Just G saying, sup, baby girl. Dude, you gotta watch Conan. How can you call someone baby girl and call them dude 5 seconds right after? Anyway. Spoon Ninja says TRGA needs a mascot. And then Spoon Ninja also says Nintendo needs to keep the cartridge format. So that's over on locals. Over on the tubes, Mo says, read yesterday's stream. I haven't been to Texas. Wait, we got this already. Damn it, Craig.
Yeah.
Terrible at highlighting stuff. Nightmare says, remember to recycle with Fanta. Chat. No. Benjamin says, can't believe we live in a society. Bottom text. Bye, Craig. Okay, John says, and this is when Blabs bans all of chat. I never actually ban chat. Just saying. Duke says, hey, Blabs, a cool video reply to the game discussion of August 14th. It'll be worth it. Just paste this after the watch. What are you talking about?
Oh, he's saying copy the watch up to the equals and then paste that.
I don't know what that is, though.
It's tough to do, yeah. Should have just told us the YouTuber in the name of the video. That would be a lot easier.
I'm not going to go and type this out, W45. Are you a real gamer if you haven't said anything cancelable in COD? In my defense, those kids shouldn't have been running trains on everyone's moms.
I found a lot of COD chatter entertaining, like in the OG Modern Warfare 2 days on Xbox Live and stuff. I don't know. I'm just not much of a shit talker. But again, like I'll just kill you and then teabag. That's my shit talking. I do it with my actions.
Chat. I understand it's a link, but the thing is, over on StreamYard, you can't copy StreamYard's super chats, and it's gone off of YouTube already. So it's not like I have a small brain. It's literally not available to do so. Thanks. Nightmare says exclusivity is gayer than baby girl's Blabs grinder. I don't have a grinder, but you know what? I bet you'd be the first one trying to get onto it. Douchebag Dan says, going to see the Alien movie, face hugger bucket. Oh yeah, Jeff, did you get like a bucket for it yet?
No, I'm going to that movie in an hour from now.
Yeah, same here.
Yeah, I hope it's good, man. I've been rewatching all the Alien movies in preparation for it because I want to be entertained.
I think there is no really good Aliens movie past Aliens. However, Fede Alvarez, the director, I've liked both of the horror movies that he's done so far, the Evil Dead remake and Don't Breathe. They're pretty good.
The 2013 Evil Dead remake?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was way better than I thought it would ever be.
Yeah, I know. I thought it was going to be shit, and I was like, this isn't Evil Dead, but it is pretty good though.
I had a good time with it.
Titties.
Let's change the topic. Okay, Tommy says, I watched Spear Hunter's video on playing a build of Dead Rise in DR. I'm torn due to censorship and the quality of life improvements Capcom made for it.
I heard she kind of tore it apart too, and people often accuse her of being a Capcom shill. So it was, it was funny when she's like, "Yeah, I wasn't crazy about this" on the title. I haven't watched the video yet.
Shut up, Mark. Thank you.
Huh?
Mage Leader says, console peasants up in this biatch.
Do we not respond to super chats?
yes. But the thing is, Mark, you go on like 5 minutes per answer.
No, that was like a 2-sentence one.
Anyway, Maximus says, "Who's right? Baby girl Blabs is right." Okay.
Do you want me to explain why? Why baby girl Blabs is right? Okay, that time I was trolling. Go.
Honey Badger says, this discussion is so much better than when losers like Nick Calandra comes on. I like how autocorrect calls him Calendar. All right. Thank you, Honey Badger. Tommy Reeves says, don't disrespect John Halo like that. Oh, hi, Mark. Speaking of Halo, John Graham will be on tomorrow, guys.
Oh, yeah.
All the jisms.
You can hear my voice in his Hard Justice show.
Nightmare says, Sony's mascot is Big Abby from The Last of Us 2.
That would have been funny.
Best one ever.
She's on like the cover of every like game box, just on the back with the hammer or something.
Xander says, can we get a Mark debate show? That'd be honestly great. Mark, you should do that on your YouTube channel, just saying.
I mean, like, I don't know. I think sometimes people get really annoyed while arguing with me, so I'm not sure that that would be great for my, general like social engagement on YouTube.
You know what you do, Mark, that will lend to your demise of a debate show is you're too calm when you don't go, Jeff, you stupid idiot.
Because I'm not trying to own you guys. I'm just trying to explain my perspective, and generally I'll only go in depth if I know I'm right.
Well, that's the problem. Is the debates you're trying to own them. You're trying to score points.
Yeah, that's why I'm not good at debating.
You should be Mark the debater instead of Mark the cyborg.
I'm
Make a new YouTube
Canadian
channel
who
where you
talks
just
about
debate
video games.
people.
I have some strong
You should
opinions,
debate
but-
TikTok videos. Just saying.
Oh God,
Anyway.
I don't know.
Cole says, has Mark been advising Disney? Wider audience.
That's right.
Sly says, in contrast to Sony and Microsoft, Nintendo sells consoles itself as a profit and not subsidize the box in hopes to make the money back from software.
I disagree. I think that hardware will always have a much, much thinner margin than software. And if you just work at a place like a Best Buy, you'll figure that out because your discount's based on the cost price and you get nothing off a console, ever.
Master Gawa says, Valve makes Steam Decks because consoles work.
Correct.
Garfy says, as soon as parents find out how many mature themed games are on Steam, they'll go right back to getting the kid a Switch over a Steam Deck.
Family mode is the answer.
Point.
You can set a pin to enable M-rated games and stuff.
Grusium says, Nintendo's like Apple. They sell access to a club. There are too many Nintendrones for them to just abandon hardware.
This is true.
Hey, they make good games for the drones. I'm just saying we don't have to be drones.
You ended my poll? How could you, Craig? Miku says, he's splatted like when you fall from afar in DK64.
Haha.
Josh says, favorite flight games, mine Civilization. I don't think I've ever played a flight game before, but if I had to do it, I would just say like.
Oh, you mean on a flight? Okay.
Well, yeah, no. On a flight.
Yeah,
okay.
yeah. Because Civilization is not.
There's Angry Birds on there, and I played the entire thing once because I was so bored.
Civilization's like grand strategy. So you create a civilization and then see it move through history.
Kyle says, someone should tell Mark that unlike Microsoft and Sony, Nintendo makes profit off of hardware. But I do get his point about spreading the market.
Hey, correct. And again, they do make profit, margin thin. Software way bigger.
Mercenary says, Copilot going by just reminds me of Monty Python's skit of the boardroom of people just walking off the balcony where there is no balcony.
Right. Well, see you later.
That's a great clip to use, too. Like a GIF to use as a reaction. The guy just walking out of the window.
Benjamin says, Copilot probably saw one of those unreal people that one lady saw. Like, I'm getting out of here.
That motherfucker isn't real. That was good stuff.
Taker says, so is patriarchy the new type atriarchy? I see what you did there. Cold Grin says, new data from the New Dead Rising. You'll want people to take pictures after asking the zombies for their permission and preferred pronouns.
There's a lot of zombies in that game. That'll take a while.
Are we okay to like it? I love that idea. That's hilarious.
Calling someone a commie is the worst insult. I find it also kind of unoriginal. Taker says, I think there is enough of a difference between console and PC gamers that Nintendo could sell 100M Switch 2s and still release games like Zelda on PC.
Correct. I think people that just want to play a console, if the console is still offered, they would still buy a console to play those same games on.
Master Gawa says, can we do a plane talk on the 2018 Horizon Air Q400 incident? The flight audio from the Florida man who stole the plane is absolutely hilarious.
That does
I'm not familiar with that.
I'm unfamiliar with this. Interesting. Mr. Milwaukee says, Capcom has been infected with Western sensitivity stupidity. Hope they enjoy losing money.
Yeah, I like Capcom. I really wish they wouldn't go down this road.
Yeah.
Lord Baxter says, don't say capitalist about yourself. It's a derogatory term invented by communists.
I am a capitalist, for the record.
Absolutely Rudy says, breaking news, Ivan Reitman is dead. Are you alright there, Craig?
Oh, no. Did you guys hear the news?
Wait, what happened? Did you?
I think he died like a few years ago, though, right?
Exactly. Craig didn't know, and he's like, whoa, maybe he'll be involved. And we're like...
So we were just quick background. We were talking about the Ghostbusters TV show on Netflix, and his son his son is going to be producing it or directing it or something. And I was like, well, it'd be great to have Ivan Reitman, and you got a son, so he'll be able to lean on his dad. And Vera Dark so eloquently was like, well, he's dead, so that's not going to happen. And I was like, oh shit. So yeah, it's breaking news. Well, it's good to hear.
Mercenary says, I was there during Gamergate 1 days. I saw the infiltration, but I think it was so insidious, I wouldn't be surprised if there were a problem to someone. Couch, black, rock, cough.
I guess it's cough.
Oh,
Cough. I was like, couch. Couch.
Cow. Black rock. There you go.
Sanders says, Mark, will you look at the Brandon Sanderson RPG?
Brandon Sanderson's involved in making an RPG? Absolutely, and I've never even heard of it. Brandon Sanderson's a very good fantasy writer. Strongly recommend the Stormlight Archive. It's a great book.
Yes.
Great series, I guess.
Shane came in with the 10 over on Rumble, says Mark's exclusivity take is about as valid as Asian women drivers. I can say this because my wife is also Asian. Thank you, Shane.
Hey, when we started dating, X-Ray Girl had to drive 4.5 hours to get to the base that I lived at, and she did it every weekend. And she got there. She only got in an accident every other weekend, which was great. So good on her. Just G says, Jeff, baby girl. Seriously, watch Conan 2024. Everyone's a baby girl. Sup, Spoon. All right, thanks. Appreciate that. And B Barrett says people don't buy physical to make a quick buck. If you can no longer play physical, play digital, you're out of luck. Thank you, B Barrett. That's why piracy and emulation are necessary evils that need to always exist. Jared says Craig would be interested in having YouTuber known as Brett Cooper come on the show to be a guest, and she can give you her take on Disney's Snow White since she is playing Snow White also. Of course, yes, of course, would love to do that. Also, Jared says the question is for Mark. This question is for Mark, Jeff, and Blabs. What console would each of you guys consider to be the GOAT? Also, did y'all know that Ivan Reitman also directed Kindergarten Cop, Twins, and Ghostbusters?
Did you know Ivan's dead?
Yes. That's the rumor. It's the rumor.
What's the best console he has?
I'm thinking.
Yeah, what's the GOAT console? And while you guys are thinking about it, right now we are currently sitting at 68 supporters over at sidescrollerspodcast.com. Who's going to be 69? Just throwing it out there.
I've never played all the consoles, right? So I can't actually.
Yeah, but what's your best?
I'm not going to argue with you, Blabs. Don't worry.
I don't know. Maybe it was the Wii. That shit slapped when I was a kid.
Why not? It can be the Wii. That's fine.
I guess I have to say the Wii, and then maybe the PlayStation or Nintendo DS.
Mine, it's like a weird tie because it's hard. It's either the Super Nintendo, the PS2, or the Xbox 360. They all were awesome, but PS2 is so versatile.
Yeah. Mark, you got a GOAT?
Yeah, I think I probably got the most mileage out of the PS3, but I think that part of the reason why that's a weird answer is because a lot of it is because it actually had the ability to play a lot of the older games, and I even had the one that could use PS2 games. So to me, the PS3 was the one where I could just play a whole bunch of games, and it's also where I started building my first indie digital library. So it meant a lot to me, but I'd say probably PS2 overall was better. And Super Nintendo was my first one, so I always have fond memories of that as well.
Right. And that's the thing to remember is a lot of people, when they say this is the GOAT console, it's tied strictly to nostalgia, right?
It's hard to make an objective argument there because ultimately it's for Xbox, it would be the Xbox series because it plays the most Xbox games and most of the ones that you liked on 360.
I didn't give my personal favorite though, because if it was me personally, I like the Nintendo 64. There's where all my favorite games
there you
are.
Go. That's your answer.
But my, what I think is the best.
Yeah, I'm actually now thinking about it. I might even bump it down to PlayStation 1.
We've started a whole other conversation.
See, that's what I mean. I think I can make an argument for a bunch of consoles being absolutely incredible.
I think you're just making an argument in general.
Yeah.
On everything.
I'm going to argue generality, in the world. Everything that humans are, will have been, or ever will be.
I'll have you come on my show and we'll have this. We'll continue.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, you need
I'm not a part of the team, but I am by definition a world-class bullshitter.
All right, 90 Dragoons came in at the $15 tip. Thank you so much. Says, I've said this in the past. It's our obligation to preserve the old games as they were. Don't let them enforce the modern audience. I will not be buying this version of Dead Rising. I'd rather spend the money repeating this over and over and over again. And I agree. right? It's the same way as like if you were to go in. I think it's the same thing as going to the Louvre and covering up a dick on a marble statue or something. You know what I mean? You're editing it because it's, you know, I think it's the exact same thing. And Delta is going to finish us off. Says, Craig, buddy, an idea for when you want to go on another vacation, or an idea for when you want to go on vacation in 10 years. Alex, Arch, and Mark on a PC Master Race stream. Also, whoever said people will go back to Switch when they see Steam adult games, I got news for you. Kids will see boobs on Switch. Thank you, Delta.
Yeah, actually, that's true. There are a lot of visual novels on Switch, and some of them get a little spicy.
All right. Let's get out of here, guys. I encourage you to go find Jeff over on the World Class Bullshitters page over on YouTube. And, of course, you can find Mark down below as well. Links to both their channels are in the description, as well as Blab's personal channel down there. With that said, guys, we are done for the day. We appreciate you guys popping in, being a part of our lives, allowing us to be a part of yours. Jeff, Mark, you guys got anything before we roll out?
Go over and subscribe to WCBS. If everybody's watching right now, subscribes, we'll hit our 200K goal. So we're really close. We're inching really close, folks. So help us beat the YouTube algorithm and march on to that gold play button.
200K. Let's stink and go. All right. We are still looking for our 69th active supporter over on SideScrollersPodcast.com. Use your promo code NORMAL. Get over there. You get 50% off your support for us for the year. It's going to help us fund all sorts of fun programming we're going to be doing over there. Go check out Mark's channel as well. And as I said, Blabs, we'll see you guys tomorrow when we're back at it again. We got a great group of friends joining us tomorrow, including John Graham and Roddy. Rodimus Prime. Primal.
The
be joining us.
tisms continue, guys, okay?
Yep. So if you like today's show, you're going
a
to
fellow
love tomorrow.
autistic Canadian who's not really autistic. Just
all right, guys. Have a great
Knows a
rest of
lot
your
of
day. Remember, if people are going to try to keep you down, don't let them. You guys got a goal. Go get it. Have a great day, guys. See you later. Bye-bye.